give people some time to get in here, especially because it's a total surprise. I'm actually sort of somewhat on time, which is not anything I'm known for in life at all. I'm late for everything, and that includes things that I'm excited about and things that I don't care about just the same. So if I'm really excited to go to a concert, late. Work, late. But I'm on time for this. It's a first. So give people a little bit of time, get you guys in here, and then we can start going over kind of the process that I'll do to give this stuff away, discuss some things a little bit. I'm really, 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 really a little disappointed in how many people participated in this thing. You know, hey man, yeah, you're here. But yeah, no, I wasn't expecting 100 entries because I know in modern times, making people do like 2 steps is too complicated. But I certainly was hoping for more than I got. Only 11 people actually entered total into this thing, which I guess is good for the 11 of you because you got 3 chances to win. 11 people, so there's a pretty good chance you might get something. What's up, Brian? And gonna finally get a chance to use my fucking Sweet King Diamond bag here that I got. What's up, Mike? That I got from the concert. I don't know how long ago that was. Jesus, over a year ago, obviously, because we haven't had any concerts. Can't even go to a bar yet. But I had a great time at that concert, man. It was awesome. So that bag was part of the package that we got for the VIP. We paid for the VIP, so we did a meet and greet. I mean, you could have entered this contest, no questions asked, because whether you're Canadian, whether you're South African, whether you're from Guadalajara, Mexico, doesn't matter. Supporting U.S. ARC is still a big deal because the U.S. market is such a part of the world market when it comes to these animals that, if the U.S. goes down the way it's going, then it's going to hurt everything. I mean, it hurts and impacts conservation all over the world, really, when all of a sudden these animals don't have a value to local people in these villages that go out and collect them knowing they can get money for them. Now they just go back to being a nuisance animal or go to the skin trade. So even being in Canada, supporting U.S. ARC is still a really good idea. And this stuff is all small stuff. It can be shipped to Canada. And so I didn't restrict who was able to get involved in this at all. Obviously, for selling animals, it's different because, then you get into all the paperwork and expenses. But for this stuff, you could have entered. You missed the cutoff time now, but next time, now you know. Nicole actually made it to one of your live streams for once. Normally I'm at work. Yeah. Mike, Rob, oh my God, Rob is here. Rob, I was just watching episodes of the Reptile Talk podcast on YouTube prior to this. I watched 2 of them. One of them being with Keith, of course, because I had to hear what Keith had to say. I'm hoping I'll be able to get down and do a video with Keith someday. I haven't talked to him about that yet. I will at some point, but I know him and Teresa both got sick and everything with the COVID, so all the rants will come. But yeah, I definitely want to get down there if he's willing. So I have to talk to him and find out because, as you know, he's a guy you could sit and chat with for hours and there's so much to learn and he's just such a cool guy and he's been at it a long, long time. So definitely that's a video that I would like to do. Hey, there you are now that I know who you are. That's so funny that I didn't know for all that time. I'm just terrible about that stuff. That's why I try to make it simple. My name's like the same on everything because I'm too stupid to remember my own, let alone somebody else's. So I watched the Keith episode, and then the other one, I didn't see it. How can I enter? Well, it's too late to enter now. But I posted like 2 days ago on the community page, or yesterday, and then again today. I think it was yesterday and today, and then I mentioned on my Instagram story as well, and on my Facebook page. So that's where that was. But the second episode of Reptile Talk was just you and Jeremy, and you guys were talking about just random shit, I think. But I remember hearing about the those royal rat snakes that are rear fanged, because I was looking at them, we were holding them, and I was really interested, and they were really awesome. So I started looking into them. I'm like, holy fuck, they're rear fang venomous. I'm like, did you know that, Jeremy? And he's like, no. So him and Lucas were looking up stuff in the car. I was looking up stuff in my car as we had left Adam's place. So we're you know, I mean, they're not medically significant or anything, but it's just funny to be handling this thing. I have no idea. You know, you don't think of it with rat snakes that they would be rear fang venomous. So that was really funny that day. Adam never got back to me on that. I was going to actually buy that one he had available. I just wanted to know if it was a male or a female. I was hoping it was a female, if I was going to get, you know, one to raise for a while. But he never got back to me, and realistically I shouldn't spend money, so I decided if he didn't get back to me that I wasn't going to reach back out. I would just let it go, and I did. And I somewhat regret it, but, you know, I don't really have the money to spend, so there's that. So the plan, I thought I had ping pong balls around, but I didn't. So what I did is I took a bunch of bottle caps and put numbers inside of them. So 11 people entered. So I have 11 caps in here, 1 through 11. And what we're going to do is I'm going to draw each number, and I have a list of names in the order that you guys entered. So I'm going to draw a number in the order that you entered, and that's going to be your number. And then these things will go back in the bag, and we'll do the drawing. But that way, you know, you get a number, you guys can see how it's assigned. You know, since I'm not on a computer or something, I can't do fancy shit. So we're gonna do things real simple. So here is the list of names in the order people entered. You know, so first entry, second, third, fourth, fifth, blah 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 blah, down to numero once there. And so what we'll do is we'll do that real quick. And I'll tell you the person's name. So Justin will be number 9. Put my name on there. I missed out. Yeah, you did miss out. I'm not going to add anybody now, because how would I know that you did the required thing? So this is going to be for Nicole here. You always am what, number 9? Nicole is going to be number 5. Next up is Christine, who is going to get number 8. This is upside down, but the cool thing about 8 is it doesn't really matter. So, you know, as far as the ranting stuff goes, next person's going to be for Chris. And she's got numero dos. As I said at the beginning of this, I'm really, really disappointed in the number of people that participated, because the whole idea was to kind of double down here. Yes, I'm going to give away this US ARC membership or the donation if you already are a member. And yes, you know, I'm going to give away this other stuff. But I wanted people to go out and do things for the community and try to build the community up. This is Lindsay, who is number 7. You know, because we really, really are way too divided. Brian, you're next. And so trying to be more community oriented, Brian, you've got number 3, is really going to help, you know, us focus on being together. And as I've said in the past, next up is Matt, Mr. O'Malley, wherever the hell he is. I don't think he's in here. Hey, hey, hey. Matt got number 10. You know, as I said before, if we focus on what we have in common as opposed to what's different, we will get along much better in everything, not just the hobby. This is for Ryan. You are number 11. Sorry, I got some Atlanta Braves news going across there. Had to check that out now that it's pretty much baseball season. Next up is Jack. Jack, you've got number 4. And then next we have Maria. Maria got in there with a minute to spare before the deadline. 2 people did. She was actually second to last, though. Maria, you've got number 6. But yeah, we really have to focus on being a community. So obviously Austin, Mr. Literally Last Minute, ended up with number 1. How ironic. You were the last, and now you are first. So now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. See, 1, 2. Hard not to drop more than 1. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. All back in there. My lucky number. Well, we'll see how lucky that is. We're gonna stretch the drawing out a little bit here so we can do some things on this video and whatever else. Yeah, well, I figured there's some people that are active members of USARC, and I wanted to still do something if they won and encourage people to still enter. So then I'll just do the $40 donation in your name or whatever to them, just as a straight up donation instead of a membership. So basically, you done fucked up, Mike. You're fired. That's why your blood python is not progressing. He's mad at you. Yeah, I am going to do another one soon. Like I said, I have enough to do 2. I'm just going to do 1 tonight. I wanted to kind of separate it out and do whatever. Yeah, Steph. So next time I'm going to do another one. Maybe next week we'll do another one, or the week after or something. So we'll get you entered into that one. And obviously, you know, you can still just go and join if you're able to. That's wonderful too. And then we would still do the donation if you were to win whatever. I did a little show and tell. One of my bloods, a comma or the 2. Come on, you got to do both. So we're going to do 3 prizes. The third prize will be a couple of stickers. You'll get one of each of, you know, my original one there, and then one of the Ron Burgundy ones. That's 2 you're looking at in case math is not your strong suit. They just come 2 on a thing, and I cut them. So that'll be there. Now, why don't we discuss this, and you guys have to be ready to answer quickly. I'll open it up for like 30 seconds, so just type whichever option you want, and we'll see which one wins here. Do you want, like, let's say I pull a number, somebody wins. Do you want that to go back in so they have an opportunity to win another prize, or once you win, you're out? Hi, Lori. So either yes for back in or no for one and done. No means once you win a prize, you're out of the drawing. Yes means you have the opportunity to win multiple prizes. You got a no, a no, a no, a no. I'm pretty sure the no's are going to have it. So if you're a yes person, yes, Brian says yes. And we got a no. No, it's 5-1 right now. No's have it. We'll give you a 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. No's take it 6-1. Okay, so 1 and done. So the third prize winner of the stickers, and I will get in touch with you guys. And Hunter says yes. It's a little late, Hunter, but, you know, it still wouldn't have been enough. So, the winner of the stickers is the number 9, which I believe is Justin, who said he's always number 9. So now you're going to get so many fucking stickers, you're not going to know what to do with them. The good news is I still haven't mailed out your other 2 sets of stickers, so you will just get so many. Maybe you could give some to your lady there, my future wife, apparently. You know, and just tell her they're from me. She doesn't have to know you want them, you know what I mean? So there you go. So, as far as this rant goes, the community in general, I really feel like has not stepped up to the plate in a long time. And, we just had a meeting for something else last night, and I was thinking back to when I was back, yeah, see? Now all of a sudden you want to change your tune there. So anyhow, the we were talking about like when I first joined USARK, it was back in, I don't even remember what year, but it was about a decade ago. It was during the Python ban BS, or just before that. It was before that, a couple years before that actually, I think, because I remember the judgment coming down and it said it was going to be for USARK members, and I was like, shit, my membership lapsed. But they said that it was, grandfathered in if you were a USARK member at any point prior. So it's been a long time that I was a member. My membership did lapse for a while. One thing USARK hasn't been great about in the past is like auto-renewing memberships, which I really wish they would really hammer down. So it just automatically happened and you stayed that way. Was just watching some of the meat collection videos showing off your Sumatras. Oh, nice. Well, welcome to the live feed. Hopefully you are enjoying the channel and finding it useful. Your future wife, you're lucky. I love you. Listen, you're the one that told me that, This was your idea. It wasn't mine. I feel like I'm like, I don't know, maybe like the 1500s, and I'm just some princess here and I'm betrothed. I have no choice. What's up? How we doing? So I don't think people are taking this stuff serious enough, and we've lost a lot. It's not, people are acting, you have this, and I see it even when we try to bring these things up in groups. People argue with you like, oh, they've been saying for years the hobby's going to go away, but the hobby's lost a lot already. We've lost species federally. There's like a fly in here. That will never be imported into this country again, or never be exported from this country again. So once the captive population here goes extinct, that's it. They're gone. We'll never see those animals again. They have a bunch of other animals that they've been trying to do. They've been trying to end educational programs. They've been doing a lot of stuff. And the annoying part of this is this legislation is cyclical. It just keeps coming and keeps coming. So even though it gets denied, they'll put it on the back burner for a bit and it'll pop back up. So if we actually took some time, showed up as a community, got together, really pounded the pavement and fought this legislation hard with a big voice, one or two times where they really, really got slapped around by how many people opposed it, then they're not going to look at us as a stepping stone anymore, and maybe that'll break that cycle. But we're such a small minority, and then within that, we're so divided that they know it's very easy to conquer us, and it has been historically. So we need to be more responsible. We need to be thinking every single time before you post something, how does this post help the community? Is it negatively impacting the community? Every single post, I don't care what it is. Make sure that it's not going to be looked upon in a negative manner, even by somebody that may misconstrue what you're doing. Perception trumps reality. So even though what you might be posting might be something simple like, oh, look how cute my snake is yawning, but that yawn is scary to somebody that's afraid of snakes. So you're not helping. Are you drinking a hard cider? Yeah. I mean, it's not hard cider, it's hard root beer, but I definitely am. And did you get your number, Matt? Were you here in time? You are number 10. So far, we just did the drawing for third place. The two stickers, which Justin won. And in a few minutes, we'll do the second prize, which is going to be a pair of these lovely Ron Burgundy coasters. And who doesn't want to put their drink down on my name and, on Ron Burgundy there, because he is a beautiful, beautiful man, unlike me. All right, 10 is cool. Yeah, but you're not, so it's kind of a weird pairing. How much for Ron Burgundy? Ron Burgundy is not for sale. But if there was a situation where I was selling him, and what I think his reasonable value would be. I don't know. If he was just a snake I had no interest in keeping, slam that Rodriguez part. I don't drink a lot. And actually, you guys see me drink on these. I drink on here more than anything else. Just because now I feel like I'm not drinking alone. I don't typically drink when I'm home alone. But since you're here, it's all good. So I would say Ron would probably go for, if I had better lineage on him, I would say he would be an $800+ snake. But because, other than his parents, I don't really know the lineage beyond him, probably somewhere in the $650 to $700 range is what I would sell him for if he was just a snake that I was selling and not a snake that I intended to keep. Yeah, I mean, as far as like right now, if you wanted to wrestle him away from me, it would be a lot more money than that. $2,000 right now. Well, considering he won't breed, I might actually consider that, because I could do a lot with $2,000. I could pay off a lot of debt or buy an animal that wants to breed for me, unlike him who does not. Yeah, he's not for sale. But you never know. Crazier things have happened. But yeah, I mean, if I hatched a snake out and he was a holdback, I typically keep him. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna bring him up there next time I come up and see what you think. God, I wish you had sexed him as a baby so I could blame you. But you didn't. That one's on me. So that's no good. It's on me and 2 other people, because 3 people sexed him as a baby. But yeah, I'm one of them, so I have to fucking eat that one if it's wrong. Whereas I can't blame Rob, which is always my dream. That's why I love selling Rob snakes, because he sexes the snakes that he buys. So I'm just like, dude, if it's sex wrong, you owe yourself some money, like I'm not involved. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, she is a gorgeous girl. All right, let's give away these now slightly used coasters that had my fake hard cider, hard root beer, whatever on there. So let's see who's gonna be the lucky winner here. Yeah, right now I don't have a single snake to sell. Everything is sold out. There's a few sitting here that are already sold, but nothing available. Let's see what the old King Diamond bag does for the coasters. I got like 3 in my hand, and we're down to 1. Numero Quattro is going to get themselves a wonderful thing. Banded water snakes are the move, Rob. Number 4 is Jack. I don't know if I saw Jack in here or not. The condensation stains increased value. Thanks for doing this. No, thank you for showing up. I appreciate it. So, Jack, I don't know if he's here, but he has won the coasters. He sent me a very, very nice email. Fuck the coaster. Give me that bag. Oh, no. You guys better do a fucking whole lot of super chatting if you want to get my fucking only King Diamond bag. That would take a lot to pry out of my cold dead hands. I also have a scarf that's still in the bag from this giveaway. From this, I have I think it's a keychain. I want to say it's a guitar pick set, but it's still wrapped in the plastic in the box. Plus, I have the signed poster from all the band members. Plus, I got to meet the whole band. Low Life Exotics, is that what that says? Shit, that should have been my name. Congratulations on that one. Oh, excuse me. That would have fit real appropriately. So congrats to Justin and Jack so far. Is there anybody else with a J name? No. So whoever wins next will not have a J name. That much I can guarantee. What about Ball Pythons 101? So, obviously what he said was incredibly insensitive and incredibly stupid. I think everybody's aware of that. I don't think that he had as ill intent as it came out. I don't know the person at all. All I know is that one snippet. But I do get what he's saying, where as keepers, we have to be prepared for anything. I pitch that to you guys all the time, that you got to have extra thermostats. You have to have extra equipment, extra caging, because you never know what's going to happen. So I get him pointing that people need to be prepared, but this really isn't the time to point that out. This is something maybe a month from now you say, hey, look what happened. He basically said, he doesn't feel sorry for all the people in Texas. It's their own problem. He wouldn't help them. Something to that effect. I don't remember the exact words, but it wasn't good. I don't care if we're just fucking around. I mean, we might as well talk about we're ranting on some stuff. So it was a very stupid thing to say. But the thing is, that makes me laugh is how divided the hobby is. Now, he put up like an apology today, which I did see because I went and looked at it. And so, no, it wasn't posted. He's a ball python guy. He posted it on his Instagram or Facebook or something. I don't remember which. But so the thing is, he posted like an apology, which wasn't really an apology because that's not one of those things where like, it's not a joke. It's not like he said fuck these people and he like you can't come back from that. You can't retract that. You could say, hey, maybe you could try to say I misspoke or something, which it would still be fucking stupid. But like there's no walking that one back. So you either double down or you go quiet. Trying to apologize to me is stupid. But like 800 people liked that post. I've never had 800 people like anything I've posted on fucking Instagram. But that goes to show you how much, here's this guy selling cheap ball pythons, so people don't care. Like, people care about bottom line way too much, and they will support a scumbag or a bad person because it's cheaper than somebody that's doing things right. And that's the mentality that we need to change above all else. I know Garrett says it. I know a bunch of people say it. I say it. You got to vote with your dollars. You have to invest in people that are doing things the way that you feel they should be done. Or at least you feel that their heart is in the right place, whatever it is. So somebody like that obviously is just in this for the money, which a lot of people unfortunately are. A lot of people look at these animals and see number 7, number 9, number 23. I can get fucking 10 clutches out of this female before she dies. I can get 8 clutches out of this one. Yeah, so, I mean, the thing is, though, how many people of those followers that he lost were actually going to buy snakes? And then again, how many of those people that are liking his posts are going to buy snakes? I'm sure he'll cost himself sales. But if somebody like Samson can sit here and still do business, what Samson's done is far fucking worse than anything that guy could ever do. So obviously the hobby either has a short memory, doesn't care, or once again, it's all about that bottom line. Because this guy literally is responsible for the death of like 100 dogs that we know of. And I know, Rob, you're not even a dog person, and I'm sure that bothers you. Not to mention the care of his snakes was abysmal. And there's photos he's put out there that are just awful. So if he can continue to have a business, you got to think Ball Pythons 101 is going to be just fine, honestly. Yeah, well, I'm very happy with how this hobby has treated me overall, and my experiences with stuff. I think just Ball Pythons 101 is his Instagram. I don't know. I Googled it based off of something somebody else posted, or not Googled it. I'm terrible with technology. I typed it into the fucking Instagram based on somebody's screenshot on Facebook, just because I wanted to see for myself how many people liked it. Okay, so can it be a steady source of income? Yes. Would I put eggs in the basket that you're going to be able to get to that level? No. Very few people do. A lot of people that do are very, very stressed out and unhappy. I know in speaking to Josh, who I consider one of the most intelligent people that I've ever met, monitors and all of basically every other reptile he keeps is how he sustains his snakes, because the snakes don't really pay. Now, Josh also, like, his snakes are not his main passion. He's really a lizard guy, so he doesn't breed his snakes a ton. He does a few pairings here and there each year that he's interested in, whatever. Um, but yeah, I mean, you certainly can sustain money at it. But the thing is if it's going to be a viable business, at some point you're going to cross some ethical lines that you probably don't want to. For instance, once an animal reaches its, past its prime for you, or you have holdbacks that replace that animal genetically, from a business standpoint, selling that older animal and getting it out of there is the smart business move. From an ethics standpoint, that's shitty, because it's a living, breathing creature that spent its whole life with you, that's, gone through pain and egg laying and all this stuff for you, and then as soon as that's not functional anymore, you just cast it out like a piece of shit. So there's a lot to think about there. To me, I feel like the animals deserve a retirement with you and to enjoy their best years once they're done breeding. I also try to stretch my animals out, so I'm not breeding animals every single year. You look at a snake like Sambuca. Sambuca is like 16 or 17 years old this year, she'll be, and she's had 5 clutches. That's it. So she's not a burnt out animal. So even though she's in her later teens, I can still breed her. She still wants to breed very much. She gets very aggravated when I don't breed her, but it's for her own good and longevity, because ultimately she's my pet first. She just happens to make amazing babies, and that's great. But that's also why I'm getting large clutches from her, healthy clutches. I think Sambuca, now she's only had 3 clutches with me. 2 were prior with Kara. But I think out of the 3 clutches she had with me, she might have laid like 3 slugs. But that's because she's not getting bred overly. She's kept at a good weight. She's managed temperature-wise, and still things can happen. But I think when you're really, really taking care of your animals, then you have less issues with that stuff. There's a little bit less risk. Things can always happen. I always worry about egg binding or something happening, and it's terrible. Especially some of these snakes like Lilith. She's a 2011, so she's turning 10 this year. She's had 2 clutches with me. That's it. Paired her up twice, had 2 clutches. That's it. And she's a tough one because I've had her for 10 years. Like, I don't want something to happen to her. So every time I breed her, it stresses me out. Every time. All I do is stress until she's done. She's eating again. She has that first shed after laying and everything. And then I'm good for 2 years until we go through it again, or whenever I pair her up again. So I definitely think, yes, it can be done. But to do it ethically, it's very, very difficult to sustain a living that way. Unless you're really, really smart and you get a little lucky here and there, you build up your name well. Because the thing is, I sell out of everything I produce. I don't have a problem selling anything, and I'm broke. So what does that tell you? Like, it's not like, I'm producing animals and I can't sell them. Everything sells. I've never had a baby for sale when I have more babies come for the following season, ever. It's never happened. Every year I sell out. And, it varies by the year. Some years I might only produce 30 babies. Some years I might produce 120. But I'm not pumping out huge numbers. That's another way you can make money, is if you're pumping out gargantuan numbers and wholesaling a bunch of shit and, whatever. But once again, you're at that point, where are the ethics going? Are you still able to do things? I always look at somebody like Kevin, and there's a lot of things that he has to do that I'm sure he wishes he didn't have to do. There's probably a lot of sales he's made over the years that he wishes he didn't have to make. But when it's your business and when you depend on it for food on the table, sometimes you're making sales you don't want to make. When you're in a position where it's just a hobby, or it's a secondary income, then if you don't feel comfortable with the sale, you can refuse that and sit on that animal, and it's not a big deal. So really, really, you have to weigh. I would love to sit here and tell you how you should do things, but really you have to weigh on yourself what your goals are, whatever. I also look at, too, sometimes when something you love becomes work, maybe you don't love it as much anymore. And that's not the same with everybody, but, something to think about. Sometimes it does make you, have disdain for something that was once
your favorite thing? I don't hold back 99%. And I don't even know where that rumor started because I really don't hold back very much stuff at all. You know, Batman ball pythons. I like it. Live bearers are what they call humbling. Um, there's really, a lot more that can go wrong with live bears because, even take your boas or whatever. I think those babies are in their system for like 120 days, start to finish, give or take. A temperature spike at the wrong time, the heat goes out. That's a third of the year that those things are have to be in certain parameters, or you're going to have a problem. And so you could look at 2 years worth of work, and then all of a sudden she slugs out. And yes, that can happen with pythons too, but python eggs are fairly hardy in a lot of species, especially more common species. Where once they're in the incubator, you can handle some fluctuation, especially down. Up, not so much. If it gets too hot, it's too hot. You're screwed. Um, but yeah, live bearers definitely is a whole different avenue. How many eggs are usually in a short-tail clutch? I want to try and breed some ivories in a few years when I'm ready. So ivories would be blood pythons, and blood pythons lay bigger eggs and fewer eggs than the short-tail species. And fewer is subjective. You can get more eggs in a blood python clutch than a short-tail clutch based on all the different factors: the female's fat reserves, weight, size, age, how many follicles she develops. All these things are gonna factor in. When the male's in there, when she fertilizes, and all that kind of stuff. Temperature can affect some of that fertility stuff too. As far as her slugging out or whatever else. So blood pythons, if you keep them too chunky, will usually slug out. Short tails not as much, but they still can and still will. So blood pythons, I would say you'd be looking at anywhere from like 10 to 15 eggs for an average clutch. And then my big T positive girl, when she laid her clutch, she laid 24. You can get into the mid 20s with them, but she's an absolutely huge female, and she was in perfect condition when I bred her. Like pitch perfect. If you wanted like the textbook image of what a blood python should look like when she was gravid, or just before, while she was breeding, she was absolutely perfect. Nice and lean, strong, built, no fat, like just a little bit of reserve for the eggs. Short tails, on the other hand, I would say you'd expect like 12 to 18 on average, and some of them will go upwards of like 30. I've never had a 30 egg clutch. I've had into the mid 20s is the biggest short tail clutch. Sambuca's the most consistent performer in the larger clutch, although she's a big Sumatran. She doesn't look it on video a lot, but she's a pretty big Sumatran. Sumatrans don't get as big as bloods, and not even really as big as Borneos typically, but she's a pretty big girl. So she lays some nice clutches. She did, I think, 21 and 22 her last two clutches. And I probably could beef her up and get more out of her, but I don't like to do that. Kyle, it's about snakes, rants, and giveaways. That's the fucking title, man. I know you can't read, but damn, son. I only have one boa. She doesn't belong to me, and no, she has never, ever, ever, ever refused a meal. The person that brought her here brought her with a male as well. They did breed some, but I never did any cooling or anything. It was more just to kind of, he was pacing, she was pacing, so I put them together and let them breed, which they did. They locked up a lot and whatever. Nothing ever came of it, but neither one of them came off of food during that time. Both of them ate throughout the whole process. So no, I have not had any experience with boas going off of food, but I'm not a boa guy. Not something I typically keep. She's been here for like 5 years, but that's it. She's the only one in the whole house. Every other snake here, with the exception of my rat snake, is a python. And none of my pythons go off a feed really either. The only python in my house that goes off a feed is my male Australian water python. And he'll still eat, but he just eats sporadically and less so when he's breeding. And then once he starts breeding consistently, then he goes back to eating again. And then my female spotted python will occasionally skip a couple meals and then kick it back into gear. And usually, as it's like going into winter, she eats really, really heavy. She'll skip a couple meals and then she'll pick back up on a normal feeding schedule. We didn't really chat much in this about the bans going on right now. We kind of talked in general. We didn't discuss New York. We didn't discuss Florida. And to be honest with you, I'm not even on the up and up in everything that's going on in Florida because it's just so much all the time. But I know Oregon is going after live animal programs. New York's trying to ban like every fucking thing ever from shipping. And it's weird because if you like ban animals from shipping, then can like I not be shipped? Because technically speaking, we are animals. So like are flights canceled? Buses not allowed to cross state lines? Like, you know, I don't know. When you have a term that broad, you wonder. You know, obviously they would not enforce it that way, but if it's on the books, they could, right? So I don't know. It's weird. Idaho says, fuck you, commies. I'm pretty sure everybody says, fuck Idaho. My mother lived in Idaho at one point in her life, and I don't know the story of how the hell they ended up out there. Because as far as I know, she was born here, and then ended up back here. I was born in Louisiana. Still don't know the story of how the hell she ended up in Louisiana. I just found out this year how my mother and father met, at least from him. Never heard the story from her. Yeah, so I have no idea, but I know she was in Idaho for a while because her parents had like a horse farm or something. I don't know. My family's very, very strange. We'll not dive too deep into that one because that one can go down a real big rabbit hole. Also, for more super chat encouragement, you know, I'm still going to do all the merchandise revenue to USARC for right now, or in the form of giving away memberships to encourage people to, you know, start following along with this stuff that aren't members and then just making donations to the other people, you know, whatever, to just do it. But I do want to start doing some of the super chat stuff towards that as well. Now, obviously, YouTube takes a chunk of that, so I can't, you know, I'm not rich. So if you super chat $10, I can't give $10. But I would definitely want to do a percentage of that as well. Whenever I have slightly less than 30 days for my clutch to hatch stand. Nice. I forget which clutch that is. I know that you sent me the pictures, but my brain is so fried. Yeah, I mean, ideally, I don't know. I can't figure it out because everything I read says 30%, but they take more than 30% of me almost all the time. So, like I said, that one time there's $52 in super chats, I got $28. I'm no math whiz, but that's not 30%. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Matrix Lily cross VPI stripe matrix. Okay, I think I do remember seeing those. I'm excited. I have not been very diligent about checking my girls for ovulations this year, so it should be fun. I'll probably at some point just randomly find one on eggs and be like, oh, yes. I got to separate these two. I got to separate these two. I got to separate these two. He's got to go back in his cage because he's over there. I've had stuff paired up for a while. I need to pull them back into their own cages so I could do it. If I give you $100, you're actually going to get like 40, probably the way it's going. So I don't know. I mean, that's why I feel like the smaller ones, they don't get whacked as much. But I don't know. I can't figure it out because then like the last one, there was like $22 and I got like 15 of that. So that's more in line with, it's closer to 30%. But that other one I just can't figure out. And the same thing with the Christmas video. The Christmas video, they definitely whacked me for more than that too. But it's annoying because you don't get any receipts. You don't get any like track. There's nothing. There's no way to track it. At least that I understand. What kind of flexible heat tape do you use? I was looking into them, but I feel nervous about attaching the wire to the mat. So if you are nervous about that, which for good reason, because if you do something wrong, it could be problematic. A lot of places that sell heat tape will do that for you, whether it's for an additional charge or not. But you can usually have that done for you. And that way, you know, it comes ready to plug and play, depending on what you need it for. Like I know Zach, I always send people to Zach for thermostat, Zach Green. And, you know, one of my customers bought a Herbstat from him and needed some heat tape for, you know, like 2 snakes. And he pre-wired it for her and everything and sent it out that way. Now, if you need like a huge run of it, I don't know if they would do that. And I don't know if everybody does. But I think a lot of places will help you with that. It is honestly pretty simple if you have the right tools. I haven't done it in years. I haven't had to do it. Reptile will charge you $1 for crimping the wires if you buy the heat tape and kit. Yeah. Oops, I just missed that big message. Oh, sure. If you do it incorrectly, it's absolutely a fire hazard. That's why I'm saying if you're uncomfortable, don't do it. But it is something you could, you know, probably watch a couple of videos on. And who's YouTube scamming? I'm definitely not YouTube scamming. But I'm sure a lot of people are. Oh, YouTube is scamming me. Yeah. I kind of feel like they might be. Am I supposed to be taking a pic, or are you talking to Amanda? Bruce's facial swelling. I took him to the vet for. Oh, I think I might have seen that somewhere. That was like the boa with the nose. What you thought was like a nose rub, and then it turned out to be something else. Is that the right story that I saw? I feel like I saw that somewhere on Facebook or something. Malice and Chains. I like that name too. Appreciate all your videos and all the information you have shared. Wish I could do more. Hey, listen, I appreciate anything and everything. You know. Okay, yeah, I definitely saw it somewhere. I just don't remember where I saw it. It could have been on Instagram. It could have been on Facebook. Sometimes I'm scrolling through these things and I see it and then I just lose my mind because I'm all over the place. Work is really stressing me out lately. Today was a fucking wild day there. Lowe's has a radiant floor mat 18 inches wide for thin laminate floors. Works great and looks like giant heat tape. Use Flex Seal tape to seal off soldered ends. So now, are you able to thermostat that and everything? Facebook, okay. Yeah, I knew I saw it somewhere. I tend to be on my phone a little too much when I'm driving, especially at work because it just bores me. And so I always come across that stuff. It's really a pain in the ass though, because especially right now, we're at the mercy of vets. Like, I don't know where you are, but like here, I'm not allowed to go inside of the vet. So they come out to your car, get the animal, so they could tell you they're doing something. You have no way of knowing what the fuck they're doing in there. And like when I took Incognito that time, they were supposed to get a culture for me, and they wanted to sedate her to do a culture because they're like, oh, well, we can't get a culture from her. And I'm like, dude, I could do it myself. Like, how are you and like 3 techs not able to restrain a 10-pound snake that's super laid back? Like, I could stick my finger in that snake's mouth. Like, what, it just makes no sense. And she's not one of those snakes that's, like, just good for me. I can hand that snake to anybody. The kids hold her, like, you know. But what can I do? They won't let me in the building. And so I have to take them at their word. And I wasn't obviously about to have them freaking anesthetize her. Did I say euthanize? I might have. I'm not going to have her put her under. And she ended up healing herself, and it was fine. But, yeah, it's a little crazy with the vets right now, at least here, with not being able to go in there and know what's going on. Yeah, oh yeah, the bookings are ridiculous right now. And that's the whole thing. Like, there was a bunch of people giving a bunch of shit about Kevin working on Lilith himself and not taking her to a vet. And like I want to shake people because one, like Kevin has probably done more medical procedures with snakes than probably 75% of the vets in this country, maybe more, to be honest, as far as procedures on snakes, for one. Two, he's in a state where he's the only facility that holds a license to handle venomous reptiles. So, technically speaking, the vet's not supposed to handle them. How many vets do you think in the state of New Hampshire are qualified to handle a king cobra or are willing to handle a king cobra? Especially, this isn't like it's got scale rot on its belly. This is its fucking mouth. So you can't tube it. You're going to have your hand right at the most dangerous part of the animal, right next to the fang. Would you, for whatever money you're going to get for that procedure and scrape it, would you want to do it? Not many vets are going to want to begin with. But it's really easy to sit back at home and be like, oh, you should take it to the vet. And I even asked one of the people that posted that, where would you take that animal? Because Tufts is probably one of the best veterinary facilities in the area and around the country. And when I wanted to take Incognito up there, they told me they didn't have anybody on staff that does reptiles, that they were going to have to pay an outside person to come in there to look at my snake. And that's the veterinary school that trains 75% of the vets in New England. So you're going to go to a vet that was trained by a school that says themselves that they're not qualified to touch that animal. It doesn't make any sense. So I get people not wanting the average person to do home vet care. Totally understandable. But Kevin is not the average person, one. And two, he's in an isolated situation in a place where there's not really anybody qualified but him to go to. So it's really, really wild to, I remember years and years ago, and we're going back to like 2005. I took a snake to the vet, and the vet asked me if he could call me and consult with me. In 2005, I'd been keeping snake for 2 years, like give or take 2 or 3. I didn't know shit about snakes, and he wants to call and consult me when people come in, and he's got a fucking veterinary degree. So that was the last time I went there, obviously. And then we went to another vet one time where they were so excited to have a snake come in. All the staff was taking pictures with it and stuff, which it was my friend's animal. My friend was kind of put off by it, was like, this isn't really professional. Didn't really necessarily bother me, but it also showed me probably not the most qualified place, considering like this is a big to-do. This means that you have not seen these animals very often, and you're not going to be very qualified to do it. Imagine every time you brought your dog to the vet, if the whole fucking veterinary office is doing a photo shoot with it, it'd be weird. It just doesn't happen. They see 100 million dogs. So it's very tough as reptile keepers to find a good vet. I don't have a good vet right now. The last place I went to, he was the vet for the Bronx Zoo, and his practice has become terrible. I don't even think he's there anymore, though. He got a little sauced up and went on a rant about the Jews, and that was took a medical leave after that. And I don't know if he's ever come back. He went a little Mel Gibson there, and that's never good. And unlike Mel Gibson, he didn't really have the platform to bounce back from that. But anyhow, yeah, they told me a snake that had a fungal issue, it was mites. And I'm like, that's not mites. Oh, I think it's mites. Just soak it. I'm like, yeah, no. Yeah, Florida, I would imagine you could probably find more knowledgeable vets because of the stuff down there. But when you're in a state that doesn't even have like a zoo, doesn't have any, like, why would you expect there to be a vet on staff up there that's ready to treat an issue next to the mouth of a king cobra? Like, why would anybody even think that that's available, let alone that's the best decision? It blows my mind how much these people just don't think. They just want to be critical of somebody. They just want to go out there and react and get likes on social media, attention, whatever it is, but it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Especially when, like, if you're going to criticize somebody for something, then you damn well better be able to handle it. But I don't think those people are doing surgical procedures on king cobras, so I don't know why they are up in arms. And, could Kevin have maybe not put some of that stuff on video? Probably. But, I don't feel like people are suddenly going to go, oh, you know what, I'm gonna do mouth surgery on my own king cobra now because he did it. Not to mention there's disclaimers. He said things, so I don't see the issue with posting it. And then you get the people that are like, oh, well, the way he's holding it is stressing the animal out and this, that. Listen, in that situation, people's lives are literally on the line. So while I am all for not stressing an animal out, this is not a corn snake. Like, if you got to hold the animal a little tighter than you'd like to for safety, then you got to do it in that situation. Especially because you don't want to lose your grip, have to keep repositioning. It's a smart animal. She's going to get sick of that shit. So you want to get in there once and get it done. And I think that's a lot less stressful, even if it takes longer to get in there and get it done once than constant transition up and down, up and down, up and down, just blow the door open and go. So I didn't have any issue with that stuff. So we won't rant on that one. We're going to rant on the people that are ranting. We're going to turn this around, I couldn't casually sit there next to snakes. I don't know. It doesn't bother me. I can casually reach in and take them out. They don't care. Doesn't bother them. Doesn't bother me. But thanks for stopping in. Probably not going to last long here. But you're welcome to stay. You have gigantic balls. A little above average, I would say. But, I can't pull them out on the YouTube feed or they'll cancel culture me. Oh, here's a snake that wants to come out right here. What the hell are you doing? What are you doing? You want to be on video? Is that what's up? You're pushing? See? She wants to be on video, so we'll get her on video. She wanted to be a star. This is her big moment. But yeah, you see? Totally evil. My life is in danger. That's how scary snakes are right there. Now the question is, why does she want to come out? Probably because she wants to eat. She's got water. Her cage is clean. So she probably just wants food. She's a bit of a fatty, like most short tails are. We got to do this main prize here shortly, and then we can still stick around for a little bit. Oh shit, sorry, I just put her back. We'll grab another snake out here in a second. Who's where? Oh, you. Let's see how you are. You look very moody. Oh, you look so mad. Hi. It's okay. So this girl just moved up to a new cage, so she's a little more defensive than she would normally be as she's making adjustments. I'll try to get her face as close as I can here. This is a T-positive albino blood python. One that I produced here from my big T-positive girl. She's a little nervous right now. The tongue flicks are picking up very, very rapidly. Like I said, she just moved into a new cage that she's adjusting to. So what happens when they're adjusting to a new environment sometimes is they're not as comfortable being handled as they normally would be. She's still not bad, but she's definitely more on alert. You can see just in her mannerisms, the rapidness of the tongue flicks, the way that her head's pulled in close to her body right now. She's in a position where she can defend herself if she needs to. Now, she's always been more high-strung than her brother, who is my T-positive Batik, but she's not bad. And once she settles into this cage a little bit more, she'll probably be great again. But right now, she's still a little bit nervous. You can see the tongue flicks are leveling out a little bit. But still, her body position, I can feel the rigidness in her body. She's still nervous. She's still watching me out of the corner of her eye right now. She's watching my face. And she's also, with her other eye, watching you guys. She's giving you the stink eye. But yeah, she's a beautiful, beautiful female. I'm very excited to have her. I can't wait until she could be having babies of her own. But yeah, she's getting used to the new space. Plus that tub's gray. Her old tub was more transparent. So now when I come in, she doesn't have that additional few seconds to see me coming before I open her tub up. So just that little subtle change that most people probably don't even think about affects their behavior. And so when I go in there, I have to be mindful that she's in a little bit more defensive of a position. Remind her that I'm steady and confident and that I'm not there to hurt her. And, you know, a few more handling sessions like that out of that tub and that'll go away. More than likely. Some snakes drag it out a little bit longer. It's got a T positive from Kelly. Kelly has some really, really, really nice T positives. Kelly, I've talked to Kelly for a long, long time. I like Kelly a tremendous amount. We used to talk a lot more. It's funny, like you talk to people all the time and then you just kind of don't. And no reason, like there was no falling out or anything. We still chat. We've actually chatted a little bit more the past like week and a half than we had in a long time. But that happens with a lot of people. It just seems like you kind of go in cycles. You get busy elsewhere. You know, I've been doing the YouTube thing now, so that takes up more of that time that I might have, you know, spent chatting with people before. So it's as much my fault as anybody's. Plus, like with the YouTube slowly growing, painfully slowly growing, you know, it's more and more people that reach out and message and you know, some people will monopolize a large amount of your time, and I try my best to like answer everybody and get back to everything that I can. I try to respond to every single comment on YouTube, or at least, you know, heart it, like it, something. How much do they go for? Are you asking me for mine, or are you talking to Justin about Kelly or whoever? Like that female right there is not for sale, but as a hatchling, I probably would have sold her for, I probably would have listed her for like $550. It's kind of crazy because the lineage behind her is stacked, but people, like quality line bred normals tend to command more value than quality line bred T positive for whatever reason, with the exception of cherry bombs. Cherry bombs have gotten so rare that they command a pretty penny right now. And actually, there's cherry bomb in her lineage, but she is a quarter cherry because her father was half. Her father was from a boutique to a cherry bomb, so that's why he was Het T positive, and then his mother is T positive. But yeah, no, she's really, really pretty. I really, really like her, so I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, cherry bombs used to be all over the place, and now some of it I think was people were just using the name too. But like everything else, and this is a good little microcosm of why people get like worried about hybrids and worried about keeping localities pure. Look at something like cherry bomb that was beautiful and was everywhere, and now they're almost impossible to find. There's like 2 or 3 people that are producing them with any consistency. All because people didn't focus on keeping it pure. They just kept throwing it out here, throwing it out there, which you want to outcross to some extent, but people didn't even really like outcross and tighten it back in. They just kind of went out and never came back. And so that's why a lot of people get so into localities. And that's probably the biggest thing that I appreciate about Garrett is how into the localities of Super Dorps he is. And I hope to get over there one day. I talked to Garrett briefly about going over there sometime. But he's way out in Pennsylvania, out towards like Dillon's way. But I would like to get out there at some point just to check his stuff out, because I'm a little on the fence about checking it out too, because Super Dwarves are attractive to me. I mean, I like retics in general, but the space commands just isn't feasible for me to keep a bunch of retics. But if, I don't use that word on my channel, Bruce Wayne, I will call the Joker right now. Sumatran shorttail. So anyhow, yeah, I would be worried that I would want super dwarfs, and then if I had super dwarfs, I want them all in caging with climbing opportunities and cool stuff to watch because they're such cool snakes to watch. The good news is they're not cheap, and I'm broke, so that'll rein me in and make it so that I can't get involved in that project. But they are cool snakes, and you'll hear a lot of retic breeders bash them. Um, I mean, I don't know why. As far as a pet market, what's better than a snake that's got the brain of a big snake and acts like a big snake, but isn't going to kill you? It's a pretty good selling point. Now, the issue with the dwarf stuff as opposed to super dwarf, and even with super dwarf to some extent, is once again, if you buy from somebody that's not reputable, they might say, oh, this is like 50% super dwarf or something, and it's not, and all of a sudden you got a 12-foot super dwarf retic. Garrett's got it really down to a science where like he can tell you the approximate adult size of that animal. There's always a little bit of variance based on a lot of factors. But from a genetic standpoint, he can give you a pretty good ballpark. And that alone is worth, if you gotta go get one from him. But yeah, I enjoy watching his channel. I try to check out his live feeds when I can. I try to watch a lot more. I just don't have time. Mostly just hang out in my bat cave with my snakes. Do you have bats too? Whoa, goddamn, Justin. You're trying to get those coasters bad, huh? Look at that. I gotta see how much I paid for those coasters. I don't remember. I have 8 altogether, but I'm keeping some for myself too. Oh, shit, someone stole your identity. Love my super dwarfs. Have I ever owned an Eastern Indigo? No, I have not. Actually, the only Eastern Indigo I've ever interacted with was at Dylan's house when she was a baby. Well, that's not entirely true because we went over to... holy shit, I'm blanking. God damn. Oh my god. I keep wanting to say fucking Bruce. Fucking Bruce. Holy shit. I'm getting old. I want to say Bruce because you're there. COVID-free bats? Yeah. Don't invite Ozzy over. You won't have any more bats, man. Dementia. Yeah, I have dementia. Brad. We went over to Brad's place, and Brad has some indigos as well. So it's not entirely true, but it was the same day that I saw those. I cannot believe I forgot Brad's name. I just fucking totally blanked. Thank God he's not watching this because he would give me massive amounts of shit for that. I love bats. Everywhere I've ever lived. And I've noticed I don't see bats as often as I used to. They used to be all around. Bruce! Bruce, bark! How's that? So anyhow, yeah, no, Brad, he's another guy I got to get with at some point and try to shoot a video over there. Brad's got a wild collection, and Brad is an OG. He's been doing this for a long time. And he's one of those guys. I don't think people have gone over there and done videos and done that kind of stuff. Like that's my whole thing. It seems like YouTube, and I understand why people do it because that's where you get views piggybacking off of other people's content, basically. So that's why, like, if somebody does a music review, you see the same song is reviewed by 25,000 fucking channels. And it's the same with the snake stuff. I feel like everybody goes to the same places. Like, I want to try to go to some people that aren't as on the map or on the radar, maybe, and let people see some different stuff that maybe they wouldn't see normally. And I also want to go to places and see people that I believe in. I don't want to go somewhere just to make content and I'm like, yeah, fuck this person. So far, the only person that I've like filmed with that I didn't know really, other than via text, was Eric. But I know Dan very well, and Dan constantly told me how good of a guy Eric was, and every single person I spoke to him. So I was confident in going over there, and his facility is really, really nice, super clean, really nice guy. So that was like the biggest risk I took, and it really wasn't that big of a risk. All right, let's give away this damn membership, huh? Which way does this bag go? 9 will enter, 1 will win. Who's it gonna be? So far we did Justin and Jack. It will not be a J name. Oh, what did I just see? Sounds like fucking sleigh bells over here. I have a freaking serpentarium in my back cave. I'm going to buy at least 1, possibly 2 Eastern Indigos. You can plan a trip in a couple years. Yeah, now I don't know what the deal is with those. Can those cross state lines? I think you need permutation to do that. Otherwise, I think you have to buy them in state. There is somebody in Connecticut that used to have them on Craigslist. So there is somebody here that breeds them, but I don't know who it is. I never paid that much attention. What's number 3? Are you rooting for Brian, or are you just throwing out a guess? They can cross with permits. Yeah, that's what I thought. Some CITES shit. Oh, it is kind of like a 3, but it is not a 3. It's an 8. 8 is Christine, and I don't know if Christine's here, but I'm actually really kind of happy that this happened, because Christine reached out to me from my post in Kevin's group, and her and her husband are out of work and having a lot of issues, and they can't afford a membership but want a membership. So that's one of those things where sometimes things really work out. I'm sorry, I would love to see everybody win one, but I think that that's going to a person that really wants it, and it might kind of make her feel really good, considering life's kind of got her down right now. I don't think she's in the live stream, but I will reach out to her. You don't have to be present to do that. No lucky number 6 today. We could do just a random drawing and see what would have been for one more, and you'll win nothing. Ha! Ha ha ha! Ha ha! Fuck you, Matt. You win nothing. Is he even still in here? He probably left a long time ago. He likes to show up and make it like he's here, and then out the door. He wins the bottle cap. I should fucking send him the bottle cap. Oh, man. But yeah, no, I am... Yeah, so I originally, not that it was much better, but I thought I had a bunch of ping pong balls around from beer pong back in the day. I thought I had a whole bag of them, but I think I might have given them away. But I was going to label those because I thought those would be more fun, and I'm like, shit. So I literally had to go around, and I literally got the 11th one by opening this drink. I wasn't even going to have a drink on the cast, but I'm like, shit, I can only find 10 in my recycling with these. So I'm like, I'm going to have to come up with an 11th one. I'm going to have to drink it. So I guess it's a good thing a bunch of people didn't enter. I would have been wasted. Actually, I only have one more of these sitting in the house, so it wouldn't have been that wasted. I would have at that time figured out something else to do. But yeah, I definitely ran around. I was like, shit, because all day at work, I'm like, oh yeah, I got those ping pong balls somewhere. I think they're in this drawer or whatever. They were not. So, and I seem to remember that I may have given them to somebody, like, I'm never going to use these, just take them. Because they were in that bag for a long time. Those were like holdovers from when I first moved into this house. You can send me my bottle cap. I'll drill a hole and run through it and hang it up. You got to wear it. Give away the empty bottle. Maybe I could probably rifle through some cages and find a urate or something. We can give that away. I really, really have honestly been thinking about making a video. I cracked a joke the other day in the Blood Pythons group, but I actually think I might make a video at some point. It might be down the road because I might actually do some heavy editing for that video, just because it'll be like little mini episodes within an episode. But somebody wanted to inform people the other day that blood pythons should only be passing solid urates and no liquid, which was one of the most comical things I've ever heard in my life. So I was joking that I was going to make a video where I just like, basically, if you've ever seen like mean tweets or whatever on like Jimmy Kimmel, I've never actually watched this show, but I've seen it on like YouTube, where like celebrities read mean tweets. I was basically going to read facts to my snakes that people on the internet say are real that are not, and yell at my snakes for not following what these people on the internet say. So I was thinking about doing that, where like I could find a snake that took a piss and take a video and be like, what are you doing? You're supposed to piss solid urates, you fucking waste of life, you know, whatever. And just make a compilation video of screenshots of dumb shit people have said and me yelling at my snakes for doing the opposite. Which I think would be funny, but I don't know how well received it would be. Yeah, and you know what's funny? Like a lot of very, very like into bioactive people, I've had a lot of arguments with, I guess, for lack of a better word. Blood pythons and short tails are not a good candidate for bio. They're just not. I will never ever say you cannot do them bio. If I turn this whole room into a bio enclosure, I can keep my big girl in here bio. 10 by 11 or so, whatever this room is, 11 by 11, you could do it. You know, I'd have to figure out the door situation because I would need 18 inches of substrate in here, but it can be done. But to do it in a reasonable fashion, or what the cage size that most people are going to do, even if you do a 6 by 3 or even an 8 by 4 is not big enough to do bio for an adult blood. It's just not. And the problem with it is they let go of so much at once. And I love how she's like, oh, well, you know, mine's going more often. Well, yours is going more often because it's younger. When they're younger, they go more often. It's when they get older that doesn't happen anymore. But, you know, you can't tell these people anything because they're in the advanced group and that's it. It's advanced, which is ironically like taking herpetoculture back into the dark ages, but that's another story. But I've gotten to the point now where I just don't even really get involved in that stuff anymore. But that one just made me laugh when she's like, oh, something's wrong if they're not having solid urates. I'm like, something's wrong with a whole entire species of snakes. Something's wrong. We got a big problem. Yeah, the short-tail, the blood pythons group's grown a lot. Just a few years ago, that group was like less than half the size it is now. So it has grown immensely, and a large portion of that is newer keepers. And it's tough because on some level, I feel somewhat responsible for more people getting involved in short-tail pythons. Not just from the YouTube. I mean, I used to do videos on Facebook and stuff before. I've been very vocal, you know, on the positive side of these snakes. And so I feel like, you know, there probably are people that have gotten into these snakes because of videos I've done, things I've said, whatever, and a myriad of other people, which is what we want. But not everybody that comes in from the right perspective. I'm hoping, of course, that if people are coming in on account of me, that they're picking up some information and learning some things, and at least starting on a base from there and not going at it the totally wrong way. What's going on over here? They've got the snake COVID, Snowvid. I like it. I'd say cake, but cake is good. Definitely so. I want cake now. God damn it. Don't talk about cake. Have you ever had bat cake? I have not had bat cake. Yo, whoever said yo. Oh, these comments disappear too quick. Oh, no. I'm all about a nice display cage for certain species with this whole bio. Yeah, for certain species it makes sense. But for bloods and short tails, they're pretty secretive snakes, and they're very, very, very ambush driven predators. And naturally, the more and more we learn, the more we're finding out that they're leaning towards the fossorial end of things. Now, they're not fossorial in the sense of, obviously you can look at these snakes and you know they're not digging burrows. You know, they're not designed for that, but they're definitely utilizing burrows that exist from other animals. They're definitely utilizing piles of stuff that they can get themselves into and things like that. Anybody that's kept them and given them the opportunity to bury themselves, a lot of them will do it. And they prefer to do that over being in a traditional hide. So a lot of these bio people are like, oh, they have like 4 hides, and that's great. And the snakes might be using those hides because that's the option they have. But they would much rather be in a different environment. And then if you have a snake, like I've always felt bio is tough, especially for like fossorial or largely terrestrial species, because they're always on the level and in whatever their waste product is. Whereas if you're doing bio for green tree pythons or emerald tree boas or even monitors or something that climb and are up and perched a lot, then it's a totally different story, because the chances that they're going to be down sitting in fecal matter or urine or anything is very limited. But yeah, stuff that's going to be burrowing in that, like I understand you have drainage, I understand you have the cleanup crew, but there's a certain amount of time it takes for that stuff to break down and be done, and those snakes are going to be burrowing all the time. And Judas Priest or Iron Maiden, is that even a question? Maiden, man, come on. What, are you kidding me? Come on. You got Eddie right there. You got Eddie right there. I do like Priest, but they're not Maiden. Although I will say, KK and Tipton together played very, very well together, and Tipton is very, very underrated. Fantastic leads. Love Tipton's playing. But yeah, I'm a Maiden guy through and through. So anyhow, yeah. So I don't knock people that do bio or anything, but I just don't think it's for me. I do actually. There needs to be a lot more spot cleaning. Yeah. See, I don't really even spot clean. Like if something goes to the bathroom, I just clean everything, even stuff that's on chip, with the exception of like my olive pythons are paired, my water pythons are paired, so they're on like thick chip right now. But those snakes also don't put out waste like these do. My olive pythons, it's like rabbit turds, and my female hasn't eaten in 6 weeks. Like she's not producing any waste right now, really. And even their urine and urates is very small. But bloods and short tails is just a different thing. And I think the closest you get is like gaboon vipers, and even gaboons I don't think are quite as infrequent as these guys are, at least based on my understanding. I've never kept gaboon vipers. But a lot of similar habits. I mean, gaboon vipers are basically venomous blood pythons when you really get down to it. The way they move, the way they're built, the ambush nature. Rip isopods, yeah. No shit. But yeah, I do want to eventually do a video on bio for the channel. Just because I always believe, even if I don't necessarily want to do something, I want to give people a platform to learn about it. Yes, they are both great bands. Let's talk about Merciful Fate, because Merciful Fate is the shit. I would give up one of these kidneys, possibly a testicle, if I could see Merciful Fate together once. Obviously, can never see them again now because Timmy's dead, but other than Grabber passing, you know, I would be okay if it was Hank, Michael, and Kim at least. If it was the 3 of them at least, I would be good. You can get the drummer in there, I'm okay with that too. I would have liked it with Grabber, but obviously he's dead, so it's not going to happen. And what I was hoping would happen, honestly, after Lemmy passed, is that Mickey would make his way back to King Diamond and play with King Diamond again. But that didn't happen. He ended up playing with the Scorpions for a while, which is kind of a weird fit for him. But he's a fantastic drummer, so he can fit in anywhere. Yes. Love the idea of bios, but don't know enough about them. Yeah, like I said, if I had to do bio here for something, I would probably consider it for my female white lip because she's so difficult to deal with. And then if I had her truly set up properly bio, then maybe I only have to get her out of her cage 2 or 3 times a year, which I think she would like better and I would like better. So she's one I would consider doing it, but the cage that she's in I could not do full bio with because there's not enough to do the proper level of drainage in there. Not without opening the doors and having the substrate all fall out. I would have to build something up in the lip and whatever. I could do that, but as it sits, I wouldn't be able to. And then I could probably do it with my spotted python or the male white lip. I could do it with the olive pythons. I just don't see the point. They're just such clean snakes. They're so easy to clean. Why do I need to? It's not any benefit to me. It's not any benefit to them. So I wouldn't see myself doing it with them. There's a southern white lip in the bat cave, huh? I have 2 southern white lips here. Not in this room, though. Yeah, everybody says that about blood python piss. I think I'm so used to it, it doesn't bother me. They are beautiful snakes. But man, she's a bitch. Brag, brag, brag. I didn't mean it like that. Merciful Fate are definitely underrated. That's no doubt. I only got to see Hank play live once, and I got to see him play live with Volbeat. I think my only snake that would do well bio is probably my fox snake. Yeah, I would imagine that would do all right. My rat snake, that's another one I could definitely do bio if I wanted to. Once again, I'd have to put her in a different enclosure than she's in now to really do it right. That's the thing that bothers me about bio is there's a lot of people that are like bio, but they're not doing it right. So they're doing half-assed bio and then they're pushing bio on other people. It's like you don't even understand what you're pushing because you're not even doing it properly. So that's probably my biggest gripe is I would say about 75% of the people that push bio are doing bio light or bio wrong. So it's just like, I don't understand, It would be like me telling women like what, period products to use. Doesn't make any sense because I have no idea what the fuck to use for a period product. And that's like these people, they don't do bio properly, but they're screaming at you to do bio. And it's like, okay, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. So, go with monostat because, I said so, and I'm an expert. Heard it first here. Hopefully they're still even a company, I don't know. I'm going to boogie and get started on wiring some heat tape. You have fun with that. Thank you for coming to the live stream. Appreciate it. Glad you could make it. I have a Lilith also. She's probably the only mean Lucy Colombian Brio. I'm assuming yours is also. No, Lilith is one of the sweetest snakes I own. Lilith, I take to programs. The kids love her. I let the kids come in here and take her out. She's food responsive, but she's definitely not mean at all. Check out Poison the Well. I've heard of Poison the Well. I think they're a little outside of my realm, but I have heard of them for sure. You don't use products for your blood pythons? Yeah, no tampons for my blood pythons. Not at all. I don't know if I ever told you guys a story. This is kind of gross, so let me forewarn you. But long ago, before I had as many snakes, this room actually used to be my roommate's. My room used to be the room that the white lip and olive and all that stuff is in now. And then we rented what's my bedroom now out to this chick. And we didn't know her. She was like homeless. My roommate and I got together, talked about it. We're like, it's winter, it's cold. She's living in her car with her cat. Like, we'll give her a place to stay, $100 a week, everything included. It'll basically pay for our oil for the winter. And, what's the worst that can happen? Having somebody here for 6 months. Yeah, she was batshit. She belonged in Bruce's cave over there for sure. And hopefully she's over there and doesn't ever fucking come out. We ended up in like a lengthy court battle to evict her and all this shit. She stole stuff. She brought people here that were smoking crack in my kitchen. Like, the gauntlet. But the amount of toilet paper that we were going through at certain points was obscene. Gotta watch my homie and Callie. All right, man. Have a good one. Homie and Callie. Who's that? Fucking MJ? It's Thursday night, so MJ's got to be live around now. I'm guessing that's who that is. Anyhow, so toilet paper started disappearing like randomly, and a lot of it. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I understand women use a little bit more toilet paper than we do. I get that. This was like way beyond. And it was like spikes. All of a sudden, we'd have no fucking toilet paper. I'm like, where the hell did this shit go? Finally, I said something to her one day. I'm like, listen, Stephanie, like, where the fuck is the toilet paper? You know, because she never bought any toilet paper as long as she lived here. So I was buying it all. And because my roommate, he never fucking went shopping either. Oh, yeah, stuff in her drawers, no shit. She's like, oh, well, I don't like using tampons, so I just use toilet paper up there. And I'm like, what? Like, you know, that doesn't even seem safe or like a good idea. That seems like a very bad idea. But yeah, so that's where all the toilet paper was going. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then I used to have the voicemail saved on my phone. Probably the wildest, toilet paper is gold these days, but this was back in like 2010 maybe. 2010, 2011, somewhere in that range. Probably 2010. So the best voicemail ever one time. So long story short, she used to hide recording devices around the house and listen to our conversations and things. And she would record us, film and voice. And we found these things a couple times, whatever. But I had a girl years ago that I had been talking to that had herpes. And we were not together or anything, but we had been friends for a long time, and like I was interested. And so I had a phone conversation with a friend of mine that I was interested in somebody, but they had that. And, you know, it made me a little bit nervous. And, you know, I understand that you can, you know, work with it and manage it, but it's like a big commitment. Like, I really want to make sure, like, if we're going to date, that it's going to be a forever thing, you know, in case, God forbid, that happens. So she obviously recording this conversation, whatever. Well, one day she fucking left me this voicemail about how she caught herpes from me from the toilet seat of the house, and that she wasn't mad about it, but that she just wanted to like borrow my cream. And I'm listening to this voice message. I'm like, what am I listening to right now? I'm like, is this real life? So my roommate Jay, I'm like, Jason, man, I'm like, you gotta fucking listen to this. I'm like, listen to this fucking message. And he's like, did she just say she caught herpes from a toilet seat? I'm like, yes, she did. No less from me, who doesn't fucking have it. Not to mention, I don't know a scenario where I could get herpes onto a toilet seat to then give to someone else. You know, I'm not a medical doctor, but it seems like there's a step missing in a sexually transmitted disease there. Maybe I'm wrong. But that was just some of the wonderful gifts that we got from her. And actually, one of her friends kind of contacted us and told us a lot of what was going on. Because my roommate had dated her sister years ago. So this girl was talking mad shit about me and my roommate, about how terrible of people we were and all this stuff. So she just assumed we were bad people. She didn't know me, you know, whatever, but she knew my roommate Jay. And so she, you know, pulled us aside and was like, listen, she went into your room, stole your out of your change thing. She's taking your stuff, using your stuff. She's hiding recording devices. So, you know, then I knew that. So I started really, really hamming it up for her as she's recording stuff, just killing her with kindness, knowing that she's trying to like get something to like, you know, say we're bad people. So I was so overly nice. Like, how is your day? You know, so happy to see you. Like, I was just like over the top nice, knowing it pissed her off. And it did get to the point where some shit got pretty petty. Oh yeah, man, I have no shame, but I didn't do anything wrong. Disclaimer, I do not have herpes, A. B, I don't have cream for it, so don't hit me up for that. C, my toilet seat is safe. I work at a plumbing supply house, so I do know toilet seats. so you can trust me. I'm basically like a toilet seat doctor. And then, just wild. But now I have toilet paper. Life's doing good. Oh, listen, we tried to get rid of her. She wouldn't leave. We had to go through the court system. Craziest shit I've ever seen. So basically I rent. So we sublet to her. So we had started an eviction on her, and then the court told us it had to be from our landlord, which I found out later was a lie, that we could have stuck with that one. So we had to start the process over after we'd already paid the marshal to come out and do all this stuff. I am a toilet seat doctor. And I got my landlord involved, and we ended up, our court date ended up being my landlord's like 90 or 89th birthday or something. So she had to go to court on like her 89th birthday, and my birthday was the next day. Her birthday is October 7th, mine's October 8th. So it was the day before my birthday, her actual birthday, we're at court. So it was her 2 grandkids, her, me, Jason, and then Stephanie. And so you sit down with a mediator in a situation like this, and he tries to come up with a plan that both parties agree to avoid actually going in front of the judge and doing all that. So we walk in, she came in last. She walks in, and he goes, "Hello, Stephanie." And we're all like, he knows her by name. That's kind of weird. So we start talking for a few minutes, and he asks her to leave the room. And he says, "I will deny this. If you ever tell anybody, I will say that I never said this. You will have no proof that I said this." He goes, "How the hell did you end up with her in your house? She's here all the time, constantly getting evicted from places, like all this shit." And we were all like, "Oh my God," like what the fuck? And so he basically made it so that she had until the end of the month, October 31st, Halloween, she had to be out by then. So that night, we get home from court. Jason leaves and goes to his girlfriend's house, who now, like 10 years later, they just actually broke up, and that's whose house I fell on the ice at, was his girlfriend, who I've actually known since high school, actually middle school. We went to school together, so I knew both of them very well. So anyhow, so Jason leaves, goes to her house or her apartment at the time, or condo, wherever the hell she was back then. And so this chick brings a guy back that she met at the courthouse. And this is not the first time she's brought somebody back here. She brought the guy that was smoking crack in my kitchen back here. She brought her boyfriend, who wasn't also a crackhead, back here, although honestly he was a nice guy. He used to help us. He never gave us any trouble. He was a drug addict, but he would help us. If we were out splitting wood, he would come out and help split wood. If we were out doing yard work, how can I help? So I got to give him credit for that. He was a good dude. And she treated him like shit. Probably why he's a fucking addict, was fucking putting up with her shit. But anyways, so she brings this guy back from the courthouse. Now, I've never met him in my life. So I get home, and they're already up in her room, but the door going to downstairs is open, and this house, the sound carries from up there a lot. So I walk in, and I can hear that they're messing around. They're not fucking yet, but they're in the foreplay stages. So I'm like, fuck, I don't want to hear this, but I just got home. I have to work in the morning. I had been at the bar. We watched the Braves playoff game, which I believe we lost that night. We might have won. We were playing San Francisco. And so I bought either Iron Man 2, I think it was Iron Man 2 had come out then. Might have been Iron Man 3, but I think it was Iron Man 2. So I bought that on pay-per-view, because at the time I had DirecTV or Dish Network or whatever the fuck. And just turned it up loud. I'm like, I don't want to listen to this shit, because she disgusts me. The last thing I want to do is listen to any kind of sex noise coming from her. And quick aside on that, one time she told the cops that I tried to kiss her, and that I made her very uncomfortable when we had called the cops to come here on her when she was like smashing dishes and doing crazy shit. And I'll never forget, my roommate and I's face both were like so disgusted when they said this. And I said, "Dude, would you kiss her?" And the cop's like, "No." I was like, "Exactly." I was like, "I did not try to." But they all knew her anyways from all of her other prior engagements places. So anyhow, they're doing that. All of a sudden now, this guy who I've never met, but I saw at the courthouse, comes downstairs and he's like, you got to do something. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, she's crazy. She's crazy. You got to help me. And I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? I don't even like her. Like, I don't want to be involved in this. And he's like, she's crazy. She keeps calling me Shane. She keeps telling me my name is Shane. And I forget what his name is. Let's call him Matt. It was something like that. He's like, and I keep telling her, and she keeps yelling at me and getting very, very violent, telling me that I'm Shane, and all this stuff. And he's like, like at first she's like taking off my pants and like whatever. And then now all of a sudden she's saying like I'm raping her and that I'm Shane and I don't know what to do. And I'm like, fuck, man, I don't know what to do either. So then she gets livid that he's down talking to me. Oh, you're talking to him and he's a fucking piece of shit. No. She starts freaking out. She locks herself in the bathroom. And she says she's going to drown herself in the tub. So she literally floods my bathroom. I mean, floods. Like water coming out from underneath the door. So I didn't know where the shutoff was in my house to the water. So me and Matt here are frantically searching. We found the shutoff downstairs and she starts beating on the fucking walls when we shut off the water. No, I'm going to drown myself, whatever. He's like, dude, we got to call the cops. Like, we got to do something. Like, what? I'm like, they're not going to come. So he calls the fucking, like, the paramedics show up. The cops show up. All these people come in. They sit her down. They're like, what's going on? Whatever. And so then the cop comes down to talk to me. And she's like, well, I just found out from her that she just broke up with her boyfriend, Shane, and she's just really upset about it. I said, her boyfriend's name is Mike. I've met him. He's stayed over my house like half a dozen times over the last 3 months. Like, she's never had a guy named Shane here, like, ever. And blah, blah, blah. And the cop's like, well, I can't confirm that. I'm like, yes, you can, because you guys have literally been called by her to kick Mike out of here. I'm like, and you checked his ID. So his name is Mike and not Shane. And so the paramedic people or whatever wanted to take her. But the police said unless she opted herself to go voluntarily that they couldn't. So the paramedic people, whatever, talked to me outside. They're like, can we talk to you for a minute? They're like, listen, why don't snakes have nipples? You're interrupting a cool story right now, but it's a super chat, so I had to acknowledge it. And that's a good question. I guess because they're not mammals, they don't have to give milk to their offspring. You just came in on a wild former roommate story. So needless to say, the paramedics parked down the street from my house for the rest of the evening. They said, unless we get another call, we're going to stay close. If she has another episode, you call her. And they're like, we don't even care what the cops have to say. We're taking her. Because they're like, she needs to go to a facility. And so after that, that was the last of like the super crazy incidents. And then it was just like some minor bullshit while she was moving her stuff out. She left a cat behind. I got stuck with a cat that wasn't mine, which I eventually ended up having the animal control lady take. We just called it Muffin because we didn't even know what the fuck its name was. It was like this little tiny gray cat. It was annoying as all. She was a sweetheart, but very, very vocal and like a nasty, annoying sound. Horrible. And that was the Stephanie story. Then her brother called me and said he was going to kill me. He left me a whole message about how he was going to murder me and all this. And I was like, okay, cool, dude. And then her mother called and told us to get her the hell out of the house, that she needed psychological help and blah, 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 blah. And then, of course, she says, oh, no, my mother's schizophrenic. I'm like, I'm pretty sure you fucking both are, to be quite honest. But yeah, there was a lot of instances. Like, she literally tried to like take the ceiling fan down because she was convinced that the ceiling fan in my kitchen was making it hotter in her bedroom upstairs. And I'm like, if you honestly feel that way, I'm like, there's a door you can shut from the upstairs to the downstairs. And then this fan can't affect upstairs at all. It's magic. But she's like, no, that doesn't do it. It's coming through the ceiling. I'm like, how? How? Not to mention her room is on that side of the house and the ceiling fan is on this side of the house. Not even close to each other. But yeah, so that was a whole thing. She used to come down and constantly shut off the fan. Your future wife said all of your lives need to have these stories. She is glued. Yeah, man. Oh, that was some wild shit. I've had very mixed up and down with roommates. Holy shit. Here for your no more roommates fund. I can't have a roommate anymore. I don't have the space now. The snakes are my roommates. I do appreciate that very much. The I got sucked into this live. Now you're gonna be dreaming about wild roommates, so you're welcome. Hopefully, for your sake, it's not a nightmare and I'm not in it. But Stephanie's gonna come visit you. You're better off with Annabelle, but you're gonna get Stephanie, crazy Stephanie. Oh man, what a wild time. Oh, another time she came home with this guy, and all of a sudden I turn around, I'm like, son of a bitch. It's one of my good friend's exes who lived with me before and fucked me over. He like dipped out in the middle of the night, owed money, like just disappeared. All this shit. I turn around, he's in my fucking house years later. I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like, hey, like throwing all this whole like, I'm gonna buy us all steaks and all this shit. I'm like, I know you don't got no fucking money. Like, I know you. And of course he didn't, but he went on that whole thing trying to act big and bad to get it in with terrible Stephanie. Which I'm sure he did, because I don't think... She tried to fuck my friend while he was outside smoking a cigarette. And it was so funny, because my buddy Eric's like, oh, I'm totally going to play into it. He's like, I'm going to befriend her. So he's sitting upstairs with her, and she's just talking mad shit about me to him, like he's not going to come downstairs and tell me. He's like, so listen, she's sneaking smoking in the house. He's like, she told him like everything, like he wasn't going to tell me. It's like, what level of crazy are you at that you think somebody that's literally one of my best friends who just met you is going to like keep your secrets? I just don't understand where the disconnect is there. So yeah, he found all kinds of shit. Because like I told her, no smoking in the house, you can smoke outside. We're not talking about weed, we're talking about cigarettes. Though I didn't want any smoking in the house. Especially because I had my bird, and birds are really sensitive to all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I was not happy about that. When I found that out, that was another thing I was pissed about. But yeah, that was a wild ride, and she was here, start to finish. I don't even know how long. It was less than a year, but man, oh man, was it eventful. It got to the point where my roommate Jay. This was his closet, because this was his room. He used to put all of his pots and pans in here when he would leave the house, because she ruined so many of his pots and pans that he started hiding them. We used to take the house phone with us, because she would just run up the house phone bill. So we used to be driving around the car with a cordless phone just so that she couldn't use it. It was wild. It was really wild. I had an African gray. Her name was Thistle. I did not name her. My friend purchased her. And the way that she got her name was a certain business owed my friend a bunch of money, finally paid her some of that debt, and part of their business name was Thistle, so that was the name of the bird as kind of like a joke, since they were the one that paid for it. But then the bird hated everybody except for me. So she bought this bird, she spent thousands of dollars on it, and it would just follow me around and bite everybody else. I used to go over there to work. It would come jump in my lap. I'd be working on the computer, and she would just be sitting in my lap. And then the people that worked there would like be trying to do anything, and she would just attack them. So she finally just said, you might as well take her home because she's your bird anyway. And so she came home with me. I had her for like a decade, and then just found her dead one day. No real rhyme or reason. She was very, very healthy, great bird. She never bit me in the course of 10 years. She used to play with the dog. She loved feeding him snacks. Like, she would steal my food and give it to him, and then I couldn't take it back. You know, he got it. That's when I had Russo. And Russo was great with her. He would never touch her, never hurt her, nothing. He would like run away from her, if anything. But her favorite thing to do was play in his water dish. She used to spend hours in his water dish. I tried giving her own bath. No. Had to be Russo's water dish. Want a Kaik. I don't know if she has any Kaiks over there right now. She did at one point, but I think it's back home with Diane. because it was Diane's bird, and then Diane moved to Hawaii, and Hawaii doesn't allow kikes because they're a predatory bird or whatever, and so she couldn't take it to Hawaii with her. They were a military family, and her husband got stationed out there. He was in the Navy, I believe. Navy or Coast Guard, I don't remember which, but I think the Navy. And so my friend had it for a while. Somebody's pushing. And then I think she has it back now. But my friend has a facility. She has a 501c3 rescue, and she does parrots and reptiles both. And actually, that's the meeting I was at last night, was working on floor plans for a building. We're putting together 2 buildings, actually. One's an existing structure that's going to be a very, very large thrift store. And it's like a really old building. And I believe she said last night it has the oldest working elevator in the United States. That's what the historian from the town said. So that's interesting. I mean, I don't think it'll be used for people because it's so old. But yeah, it's a cool thing for people to come check out. But we're also going to put a 55 by 35 building that's going to be for the animals. And so the thrift shop is for the nonprofit. Like everything from the thrift shop goes towards that. So right now she has the birds at work. So she has like 30. Kevin does have a kookaburra, for sure. He's down right next to Jeremy, the fly river turtle. But yeah, so she has like 35 parrots right now. She's got a pair of hyacinth macaws. She has a bunch of blue and gold macaws, a bunch of grays. She has, I believe, a lesser sulfur crested cockatoo. She has is it a citron cockatoo? She has a rose breasted cockatoo. What the hell are the little shithead cockatoos? Goffins, I think she has a Goffins. There was a Hans macaw there. I think he's still there. She's got some Amazons. One of them, his name is Cookie, and he is a horrible, horrible bird. Horrible bird. He just wants to literally inflict as much pain on everybody. Like, there's no person he likes. He bites everybody. This poor woman adopted him, and like, she would come in and her arms were just torn up. I mean, blood, just nasty. And this is not one of those birds that like nips, like he's tearing your flesh. He's like a goddamn vulture. And she finally was like crying. She's like, I don't know if I can do it anymore. And we're like, we told you not to take him in the first place, but she really loved him. So he's going to be a lifer there for sure, because he's just a horrible, horrible animal. But he lives with Pepper now. And Pepper actually used to live with me. I almost took Pepper back home, because the only reason I took Pepper back over there was I had Pepper and Thistle not together in the same cage, but both together here at the same time. And Pepper was obsessed with Thistle, and Thistle had no interest in Pepper. And so Pepper would just basically attack me because Thistle was interested in me, and it became like this horrible love triangle of Pepper trying to get to Thistle, Thistle wanting nothing to do with her. And Thistle and Pepper were close when they lived together there the first time, but once Thistle came home with me, she forgot about Pepper. She was like, I'm out, and that was it. So we thought at first it would be great, and Pepper, because Pepper actually likes me. I'm one of like 3 people that can actually like pick her up or touch her. Excuse me 1 second, got a low battery symbol there. So like Pepper will give me a kiss. You know, I can feed her. Most people Pepper attacks too. She's very nasty. But she did bite me pretty good one time because she got mad about the Thistle thing, man. She launched and freaking ripped my hand open. But yeah, so it just didn't work. So then Pepper went back. But now that Pepper and Cookie are together, it's good for Cookie to have some kind of companionship since he won't tolerate people. And Pepper's still fine with me. So I can go in and get a quick kiss from Pepper, and then I got to get the hell out of the way because Cookie's already charging, trying to bite me in the face. But I still, every single time I go there, I see her, and I always give her a treat, and I give him one too. But it does not win him over. He still wants to kill me. And then one of her cockatoos, Billy, is absolutely adores me. So I'm always the one that takes him out. Nobody else really does. The staff over there is actually afraid of him. And he can be a bit of a jerk, but he's great with me for whatever reason. He plays peekaboo with me. If you go on my Instagram and scroll back, you can probably find I posted a few videos playing peekaboo with him. So if you go through on there, you can see those because it's pretty funny. He gets distracted a lot, but he definitely plays peekaboo. And he also, if you let him like run around the floor, he hops and he says hop every time he hops. And it's really funny. So I have fun hanging out with him. I got to get over there and take him out at some point. Maybe one day if I do, I'll go live on here. Yeah, he plays some cockatoo peekaboo. He does. You have to put your hand over your face. Then when you come out, he'll say peekaboo. But the last time I went to see him, he was very, very agitated. Not at me, thankfully. He never ever takes it out on me. But she had some peacocks wandering around the store at that time. And he was not about that peacock life at all. So as soon as he saw them, he had to go back into his cage because he was just too freaked out. I thought he was actually going to bite me, which would have been the first time. Because he ran up on my shoulder like real quick and got real pressed up against my head. I'm like, oh fuck, he's going to take my ear. Because I'm very careful with him up there because he is so high strung. What is reflecting blue? I can't figure it out. It's probably my chlorhexidine down there. Yeah, she has a few peacocks. She has emu. Those are at her house now. The peacocks are home. The emus are at her house. Those aren't rescues. Those are pets. They have a couple horses. They have a couple Akitas. Their female Akita is my girlfriend. So every time I go over there, she basically makes out with me. She loves me, and she hates a lot of people, but for whatever reason, she's always liked me. Her male Akita this last time was the first time he's ever really been nice to me. He's always been very nervous about me, which is always funny because she's like the guard dog Akita that like doesn't like people, and I can just walk in the house and she jumps into my arms and like gets all excited, and meanwhile he's like trying to kill me. And you'd think like one dog would pick it up from the other one that I'm okay, but it didn't work like that. And she is the elder statesman. But I adore her. She's such a great dog. And she has some snakes too and stuff like that. She has a Dumeril's boa that has to be in it's like maybe close to 30. She's so old. For the last 10 years, that snake has looked like it died. Like, she still eats, she still does great, but like, she looks like she got hit by a truck. Like, she's just, when a snake looks old, like, they're really old. We don't know the true age on it, but this thing's got to be pushing 30, if not over. And she's sweet as pie. Huge, huge Dumerils. I don't know how big she is, but I don't know. She's definitely all of 8 feet, but I think she's bigger than that. But yeah, she's got a big, big blockhead. Her like jaw doesn't sit aligned anymore. And she just eats. She's loosely a rescue. I forget the exact story. Somehow there was a vet tech involved that had the snake for years. I think the vet tech actually rescued her, had her for a long time, and then had some stuff going on in life and had my friend take her. But she's a sweetheart. I mean, I can go over there, take her out. She's great. She's great with everybody. Thanks for the help the other day. I don't even remember what I helped you with, but you're probably not welcome. Especially you. Especially you. Something to do with the retics or something, I think. But yeah, no, she's a big girl. She's got the berm. She's got some blue tongue skinks. She has some kind of milk snake. She has a couple ball pythons. Jerk. Yeah, I am a jerk. I had a Dumeril that wasn't bad, but she was like so food responsive. She got me a couple times with food bites. Like I was trying to open the cage and she would just telegraph and get me. But she wasn't mean otherwise. When she was out, she was fine. His eggs are good. That's what it was, the incubation thing. Yeah, I expected they would be. That wasn't like a huge, huge temperature drop. Nothing to worry about too much. They can handle a little bit of a drop. It's the spikes that that don't go well. All right, anyhow, let's wrap this up soon because this is much longer than. Congratulations, Bruce. You know, maybe you should have been Catwoman because cat-like reflexes you would have gotten out of the way. You're in the wrong spandex uniform. There's my piece of advice. Amanda, you're supposed to be in bed. Why are you still here? To my rescue from my city, found an alley. Dude, people do crazy fucking shit with snakes. It's so wild. Yeah, no, she was like crazy food responsive. This is a long time ago. And she was a snake I took in from some people that couldn't keep her for some reason. I don't remember. I ended up with an Argentine boa because the guy got deployed overseas. So I did... I've done my fair share of rescue. I have not focused as much on rescue in recent years because I really fear taking anything into the house like that. I'll help, when people get in touch with me, I'll help send them somewhere else where somebody else can kind of take it on in another place. But yeah, I get, it is my bedtime. I get up around the same time. I get up at 5:30 too. So I feel you. I just don't sleep well, so it doesn't really matter. I have this sleep tracker that's really cool. Yeah, you're not kidding, especially if you knew what I sold that Argentine for, and she was a big female. That fucking BCO female was like 7.5, 8 feet. She was big. She's a little moody at times, but not bad. Very workable. You had to be careful reaching in and like read her mood. But yeah, I was in a really, really bad financial situation at that time. And I actually agreed to sell her and the Dumrose female together to somebody. It's only 7:30 out in Arizona. Like, you guys don't even use daylight savings time. You're not even real. You might as well be Canadian. And so I was in a really bad financial spot. Somebody was interested in both of them. Sumatrans are probably the heaviest food response of any species I've ever worked with. Anything. Everybody told me olives. They got shit on Sumatran shorttails. Nothing. But anyhow, so I needed the money. I didn't have a car. So my friend agreed to drive me to meet this guy in the next state over. And I told her, like, I'll give you gas money once I sell these snakes. We had already agreed on a price, which was already rock bottom price. I forget what we agreed on. But, like, I was selling him the Argentine and the Dumrose female. The Dumrose female was a nice-looking animal. The Argentine was, too. But the Dumrose was, like, I rarely see Dumrose that nice nowadays. Very, very few and far between. Just really great hues and contrast and just very pretty. And I think I agreed to sell them both adult females for $300 or something. And I got there, and pythons are definitely better than boas. That's undisputable. And so I had my friend drive me out there. We meet. I get into the 8675309. Jenny is not as good of a time as you think. That's some false advertisement. So I get out there, and the guy, had beat me up down to $300 on him. And I needed the money, so I was like, I'm going to do it. I get out there, and he's probing them in the car. Now, mind you, I said the Argentine can be moody. I held her in my arms while he probed her in the car. She didn't even react to that. Like, she was really pretty good. I'm just not a boa person, so if I tell you a boa is like, all right, it's probably really great. I just don't like boas very much. And he's like, well, I feel like the probe's going in a little deeper than it should, and it wasn't because I watched him probe right in front of me. He's like, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, I don't know what to tell you. She's a female. I know she's a female. You just probed her. I watched you probe female, like whatever. He's like, well, I just, what? I'm not going to give you more than $200 for the both of them right now, and that's it. And I had no choice but to sell them because otherwise I couldn't even pay the person that gave me a ride to get myself back home. Like, I was in such a bad shape at that point in time. So I had no choice but to take that offer. That guy totally knew I was in a bad situation and took advantage of me and was a total piece of shit. And it's my fault for not having him pay in advance or whatever, but he was like, I'll do cash there or whatever, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, now I probably could sell that snake right now easily for like $800, no problem. Probably selling today. Just for the one, let alone the doom rolls. I probably could have sold the doom rolls for like $300 right now easily too. Maybe even more, because she would have been huge by now. She was big then, but she would have been enormous now. So yeah, there's some shitty people out there. I will never, ever, ever forget as long as I live. No, you can't do what? What's bullshit? What's bullshit, Bruce? That's rough. You'd get $1,500 minimum for a breedable female babies. Oh, so they're even more than I thought. Yeah. So either way, I mean, back then, the market on that Argentine was probably $300, and the market on that Doom Rolls was probably $200 at that time. So already $300 was a screaming deal, and I mean that female was plug and play. If you had a male, get her comfortable in a cage, cycle her, and you could have had babies very, very easily. She was ready to rock and roll, age and size, everything you need. But yeah, so that was really unfortunate. And I'll take your boa, email it to me. Bruce, I'm really going to try and get him to the vet here in the next couple of weeks. I hope this vet does their good job. Not wrong with that. Yeah, man. It sucks because vets are necessary, but it's tough. There's a lot of vets that don't really care about animals all that much, which surprises me that somebody would get into an industry like that, but look how many people get into snake keeping that don't give a shit about the animals, so I guess we shouldn't be that surprised. There's money to be made. Somebody's going to make it. Income tax, baby. Yeah, I owe fucking income tax. Again, I take the maximum out and somehow I still owe money. It's not a lot, but it's like, fuck, dude, I'm poor. I'm in like one of the lowest tax brackets and you keep fucking me more. I just don't know shit. No, they certainly don't know shit about reptiles, but I've even gone to vets that like clearly don't like dogs or don't like cats. It's like, you're in the wrong business, man. Connecticut. What about Connecticut? What are you trying to say, Brian? Oh, Connecticut's a disaster financially. I need to get out of this state so bad, but I can't afford to. Just need someone to adopt me and my children. But none of you are nice. None of you want to adopt me. He said, move down here. She will take care of you. Rhode Island isn't any better. So what are we going to do, Justin? Like a straight up swap? You'll just come here and I'll go there? I will not move to Florida. Sorry, Bruce. I hate Florida. Never. Never, never, never. I don't even like visiting Florida very much. I can visit Florida for like 2 days and I gotta get the hell out of there. Yeah, I have no interest in Arizona really either. South Carolina was the top of my list, but now with the Tegu ban thing, it sketches me out. Where there's one piece of legislation, more will usually follow. Lindsay, you're like near DC though. I don't even think there's good reptile laws down there. Swap, you have nothing to swap. Yeah, I'm going to come down there and you're going to come up here. Stephanie's going to take care of me. You're out of the picture, man. You know this is what was happening. Don't be like that now. Yeah, I can't stand the heat in Florida. I'm not keen on the amount of tourism that's down there. There's just nothing about Florida I love other than my Miami Dolphins. Ohio? No, Eric lives in Ohio. Then I have to deal with him all the time. And this lemur that doesn't like me. Mikey hates me. First day in Florida, our car gets shot out. Exactly. She just said, bye, Justin. Yeah, that's the plan. It's a straight up trade. She's getting an awesome dog. Me. Plus these snakes. I told you before, Justin. You can buy her gifts. I can make her gifts. What are you going to do? You know? People like stuff from the heart, man. I like stuff from the wallet, though. So if you're going to get me a gift, wet blanket hanging out in South Beach. Washington is mild, just expensive, and you can't have hots or crocodilians. Yeah. Plus, Washington makes me nervous too with like Seattle and the politics there. I definitely want to go to a more conservative state, just from the perspective of the laws for reptiles and exotics in general. You know, someday I might want to get a fucking tiger. Like, I need to be able to have that. That's important. And crocodilians are definitely big for me. If I'm gonna move, it has to be somewhere where I can have crocodilians. Even if I have to get permitted for it, whatever, I don't care. But I need to be able to have crocodilians. That's a must. You know, because that's one of the major reasons I want to move, is to be able to work with them. Seattle rocks. Yeah, I mean, I like Queensryche. They're from Seattle. That's about where Seattle ends for me. Want a bear too. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like me and a bear together wouldn't really work out. We're too similar. You know, similar body structures. We're both pretty hairy. I feel like we would fight a lot. And I'm going to have to beat that bear's ass. So I don't know if that would work. I feel like a tiger is more my speed. I also would like to be like that dude in Ace Ventura and have like pet sharks. But I don't want them in like one of those. I want like a fucking huge thing. I want like you know, Free Willy style, like this fucking, get some great whites in there, you know. Dwarf caiman, I like dwarf caiman, but that's not the species of crocodilian I would want to work with. American alligators would be my number one. I love alligators. I love the personalities. I love the trainability. I love the intelligence. I also love the fact that there's a little bit more room for error than when you're keeping, you know, crocodiles. But if I go, some states will allow crocodilians, but not native. So if it's a state where, all right, Mike, we'll see you. Apparently, graders are actually quite bashful. Yeah, they are, and they also don't really do well in captivity in general. Swimming with great whites is one of my biggest dreams. The older, actually, the younger ones tend to be the more dangerous ones, because sometimes they kind of are more nervous, whereas the adults are a little bit more secure, but they are pretty reclusive and kind of keep to themselves. They typically don't have a whole lot of interest in us. It's usually just mistaken identity or occasionally curiosity. My common snapper is pretty exotic. Like how tiny and rude caiman are. I just think I like rude animals. Yeah, you know, it's funny though. Like, Kevin has some phenomenal caiman. Like, I'm a total stranger and I could pick that animal up and hold it, and that makes no sense for an adult caiman to be able to do that. It's wild. Come visit Oakland then, my friend. You have a place to sleep when you come. Oakland? The Raiders didn't even stay in Oakland. You're trying to get me out to Oakland? One of my favorite videos of all time is from Oakland, was those people putting on those whistle things on their car or whatever. That fucking video is hilarious. What the hell are they called? It was like a news story. If you've seen that video, you know, because that video is hilarious. Didn't want to wear my fins, and the guy said they'll bite your feet. What the fuck? They'll just bite our feet. They couldn't hang. You have to be pretty tough to be in Oakland. Whistle tips. Yeah, man, that video is so funny. I'm going to have to watch that after I get off of here, because that shit fucking kills me. That's one of those videos I'll end up watching like 16 fucking times. Especially when that guy's like making the sound effect or whatever, and then he like tries to take off in the car and he almost like hits the other car or whatever. Wild. Oakland was just in the news for having a murder every other day now since they have defunded the police. There's a shock. And you look like a chubby Robert De Niro. Wow. If I had his money, I'd be happy. But yeah, I haven't seen that Whistle Tips video in probably like 2 or 3 years. I know I've shared it on Facebook before, but I don't check my memories a lot. And it's like I can go to bed already. I have no self-control. I am in control of your life now. So, if you get a little bit more tired, you get like the desire to send me $100 in the mail. I'm going to be like one of those televangelists. The Jesus will not love you if you don't send me $100. You will not sleep. You'll just keep staring into my eyes. I'm almost out of my hard cider, as he calls it. I have 140 in savings. So I don't even have a savings account. So listen, the right thing to do, $100 is unfair to ask, but we should split that 70-70. That's fair. You know, that's fair. I think that's the way we go about this. But yeah, no, I've never been to Oakland, but Marshawn Lynch is one of my favorite people, and he's from Oakland, so I'm cool with Oakland. He's just, I love that man. He's just so real, has such a great sense of humor, such a great sense of things, and like, what I like about him the most is he'll make fun of himself, he'll pick on himself, and he knows like where his shortcomings are, and he's not afraid to talk about it. Like he's a man's man who's also fucking hilarious. And that video of him, speaking of funny videos, that video of him and Gronk with Conan playing Mortal Kombat is pretty hysterical too. My battery's on 10%. T-positive Batik, let me see. Sometimes he's in his cage in a position where I really can't get him. So oh, sorry. Oh no, I can't. He's not in his cage at all. He's down in the bottom bin over here with the T-positive, or the Het T-positive matrix. So he's down in this bin. So I cannot pull him out right now. I'm like, holy shit, he's not in his cage. I forgot he's paired up. He's not doing anything, but he's paired up. He's over here. She's over there. She's actually watching me right there. Not because she likes me, she just wants food. Getting freaky? No, he's not getting freaky. He hasn't done anything yet, but he's very young. So this is like get your feet wet, get used to being around the bigger ladies, and then that's about it. Seen that video today, bro? Really almost crashed the car on live TV. Which video did you see today? If I send you $100, you send me a snake. By the way, Dan, thanks for the stickers. I've been slacking on my social media game. Yeah, man, that was a long time ago. That was like 2 months ago. Slacking. How is good old Bub Rub? Who's Bub Rub? He's nervous because you're watching. Oh, he's breathing. Stephanie said you're making her presses. No, he's not breathing. Oh, the whistle test. That shit's fucking hilarious. I can't even make the sound that guy makes. Like, that's what makes it even better. Is like, here's this like tough guy who's like trying to be, you know, a homie, whatever you want to call it, and then he's fucking doing these fucking whistle noises. Just makes that video incredible. Oh, I fucking love it. Bob Robe was the guy that interviewed it. Oh, okay. I don't remember. It's been years since I saw it. And listen, all the murders, all the bullshit that goes on in Oakland, he's done a lot for that community, because now that's my first association with Oakland. The Raiders leaving, and then Bub Rub. So, Bub Rub's a big deal. That's like Canada. I love Canada because, well, I did love Canada, but now that Rob Ford is dead, Canada is not the same. Rob Ford was the man. Like, you got people around here that just have alleged scandals and like quit. This dude's on video smoking crack and he's like, I ain't gonna quit. Like, that's my boy right there. Love Rob Ford. Oh, thanks, buddy. You know, it's pretty sad. How long have you guys lived in the new house and I still have not come up and seen it? It's been like 3 years. I swear to God. How's the wife, the kids, the army of children? You and your 400? Leonidas could have used you and then he probably would have won that battle. But nope, he was stuck with just 300. 5 years? Oh, fuck. That's really bad, man. That's terrible. I got to get up there soon. I've only been saying it for 5 years now. Holy shit, 5 years. Fuck. That's 2016. Goddamn, son. It's really far away. It's like a half hour. Probably driven by it a bunch. But yeah, we definitely need to get together. I got to see the kids. The kids are probably enormous now. Fuck, man. The youngest has to be like, you know, employed by now. Let alone the oldest. Damn. We did accomplish something though. We got your other half to pet a snake that one time, and she let the ones sit in the box in the house, which I was very impressed with. And she put up with years of me saying I was going to steal the rabbit. So, yeah, time does fly. I would have never guessed that. I thought 3 years. I thought I was being a little over the top, but 5 years, damn, that's crazy. That's what happens though. We all used to get together all the time. Carson will be 4 next month. Holy shit. Lexi wants a snake now. When are you going to bring? You see, you should bring her here. Then I don't have to leave. Although you don't want to come here right now because today was the first day I could see my driveway, and now we just got a bunch more snow, so now I can't again. But yeah. How old is Lexi now? She's got to be like over 10. Or around there, right? She like 6? I don't know. She's got to be up there. 10, yeah. Damn, man. I'm fucking old. I'm dying. I gotta start making funeral preparations here. Shouldn't joke about that considering like everybody we know is dead, but it's the fucking truth. Wow. That blows me away how much time has gone by. 15 in July. Jesus. Jesus. Slowly coming every day. Canada has GSP. I don't have GSP, but I got a GPS on my phone. All right, guys. Doesn't hurt to have a game plan. Sharks will bite your feet, people. That's important. Aren't you only 36, crippled ass? Yeah. I'm 36, but I feel like 136, man. My body is dying. And then my dumb ass, those of you that are on Facebook, our loading dock is like this high off the ground, and I totally thought I could just jump, like not run and jump, just jump and make it. I did not make it. Caught my feet on it. I slammed my knee. I ripped my knee open. It's all bruised. I fucking landed on my hands. I cut the same spot in my hand that I cut when I fell on the ice at fucking Christine's. I'm in a lot of trouble. I'm falling apart. Especially including our animals. Yeah, for sure. That actually is something that weighs on me a lot. Especially driving for work and doing all this stuff where like shit could happen. You know, like I would want Kara to handle all my animals and take whatever she wanted and find homes for the rest or whatever. But I don't know what would happen legally. Like, would she be able to come here and just take them? Also, there's the fact that, like, when I do die, no one's going to find my body for, like, weeks if I die at home. Like, I've been behind, like, 6 weeks on rent before my landlord even calls to say anything, if she even calls. Work knows that I hate being there, so they would just assume that I quit. I don't have people over my house really very often. So, I don't think anybody would find my body for a while. I'd be one of those things where they finally do find my dog would have probably eaten me. It's going to be one of those situations. Almost 20. But you're in Canada, so you can drink, right? Canada, you can drink at 18? Didn't you say you were in Canada? Was that you? That was not you. You're in Florida or something. So you can't drink. Not legally, anyway. You probably shouldn't even be watching what's going on over here. Let me put that off to the corner there. But, yeah, no, I definitely should do that at some point. All the legalities of it. Yeah, that would be my only concern. I mean, I don't have any assets, so nobody's going to get shit when I die. Nothing. There's nothing here. There's no bank account. There's no Swiss bank account. There's no money in the mattress. I sleep on the couch more often than not. There's no money in that either. Massachusetts. Wow, I'm way off. I thought you said come to Florida. Maybe that was somebody else. I don't know. This is what happens when you're old. Also, when you're bald, thoughts escape through the top of your head. So that's what happens. Thank God I only live once. I don't think we're the same person. Do you have a really hairy chest and a bald spot? If so, then maybe. I think we would know something was wrong if you didn't post for more than a couple days. I don't know. I've gone on some social media hiatuses before. And not very many people checked in. A few, but not that many. Especially now, I don't post on Facebook as much anymore. Yes, you do have a hairy chest and a bald spot. Maybe we are. Maybe you're my alter ego. Although, I don't know. because you're not splitting your savings with me. So I have no savings and you have $140. So if we were the same person, then that means technically I should have access to that $140. Yeah, it's a strange world. That happens a lot. Like I've even had people like post to my Facebook wall. I'm like, you have my phone number. Just text me. Let's see a blood before you go. I took out the T positive female already. Ron's in with the big T positive. These two are paired up over here together. I don't feel like digging out the T positive ivories right now. I mean, I could pull out that. Were you not here for that T positive female, Justin? When I took her out? I could take her out again if you weren't here for that. Ron's doing great. He's just not, you know? So he's doing fantastic other than being totally useless to me. At least he's on merchandise now that I'm just giving away the money to anyway. So literally, he's not doing anything for me. I'll buy Ron from you. He's useless. Somebody already offered me $2,000 right now, and I said no. What do you think you're gonna offer? What do you got that's north of $2,000? And you can't say you're gonna trade me Stephanie because I'm already getting her anyway, so it's no deal there. I just be giving that away. How about Sambuca? Sambuca's well. She's doing her thing. I didn't breed her this year. I decided she really wasn't in perfect condition to breed yet. I wanted a little bit more weight on her than I had on her right now, so I decided to hold back. I've been here since the beginning, so then you saw the T positive blood. No icing. Ron needs to quit being a mush with the females. Yeah, no shit. 3,000, 5,000, 8,000. Yeah, send me a screenshot of that 3,000, 5,000, 8,000. All right, man, I'll talk to you. I really will. I swear to God, we will get together at some point. I don't know when, but it won't be 5 more years. But it also probably won't be while Joe Biden is still a functioning human being. So somewhere between now and that 5 years, we'll make that happen. Yeah, I don't know what other bloods I even have in here. You tried giving Ron a boyfriend yet? It's your bedtime. You're like 3 hours behind me. Holy shit, you're old. I don't want your Dogecoins. I don't even know if that's how you say it. It ain't cake without frosting. That's right. Then it's just a muffin. Somebody baking me a cake? I hope so. I don't really need cake, but I'll take cake. I'm trying to think if I have any other bloods in this room that I can grab easy enough. I don't really think I do. But we took out a blood. We took out a Borneo. What we didn't take out was a Sumatran. One of you is in shed. I just don't remember who. Why are you looking at me like that? I get bit, and I know it's not in shed. Oh, wow, you're like fucking right there, homie. Right there, player. Come here. Come here. Get out one of my little Sumatrans so you guys can see a Sumatran before you go. Short tails from Kara, Kelly, Matt, Nick, Dylan, but none from you. Listen, I tried. I tried to sell you one. Now somebody else in Massachusetts has it. Hi, I'm Joe Biden's wife. Are you really? Wow, we're definitely not the same person because I would not have married that. Where you going, man? Bobbing and weaving. Bobbing and weaving. Look a little too food interested in me. There's a joke from the video. From a video, I don't know if I saw it. It was half a century as a political Uncle Joe. What have you accomplished? He incarcerated a lot of people. So, I mean, that's something. He also had people believing that they were actually going to get $2,000 the day he was elected. And that he had a plan for COVID. That's probably my favorite thing from the entire thing. The man literally ran on a platform of Trump didn't do enough for COVID. I have a whole plan. Then he gets elected and he goes, well, there's not much we can do. Oh, that made my life. That's like the ultimate, boom, suck it, fools. It's like, I gotta give him credit where credit is due. That was brilliant. That was brilliant politics. I got a whole plan. Now he's elected. Not much we can do. Beautiful. I love it. That's the spirit, Joe. Aaron, where you been all this time? Can't wait for that T positive 007. I'm not sure I'm going to get a clutch out of that. I hope I'm going to. See you later, man. Yeah, see, I don't know. I know everybody wants to cancel the student debt, but I don't know. I got a little bit of a problem with that because, like, I didn't go to school because I didn't want to accrue that debt. You know, you sign up for the debt, you got to pay for it. That's kind of how debt works. So I don't know. I know a lot of those loans really suck, and it sucks to pay them back. And I know a lot of people aren't using the degree they got and the career they have. But I'm a big believer in you sign that paperwork, it's yours. You own it. Pay for it. I don't like this whole like, oh, I just want to get out of it. Like I don't know. It doesn't work for me. It's kind of like when they talk about changing a law. And they're like, well, you got to let all the people out of prison that are in for that law. Like, why? They broke the law when it was the law. They got a sentence based on that. Like, I don't know that you just let them out because now you change the law. They still broke the law at the time. Like, it's very weird how we do things like that. You know, it's these aren't like accidental things. It wasn't like something where like you fell asleep and you woke up in the morning and like, ha ha, you've been straddled with student loan debt. Like, you signed up. I don't get it. I don't get it. Only a small percentage of the U.S. can afford college, so they get the easy out. If Becky Sue gets $10,000 debt erased, I can have $10,000. Yeah, now that I would be all good with. Yeah, well, he also said that, what the hell was that quote that he said? Where, shit, I can't remember. Like, poor kids are just as smart as white kids or whatever the hell he said. Oh, man, he said some dumb shit. There was a period of time where I swear to God, Trump and Biden both wanted to lose the election, and they were each just taking turns trying to say something dumber so that no one would vote for them. It was like a solid month where like every time you're like, well, this one's definitely going to win because this idiot rattled off. The other one came out with something that you're like, wow, dude, like all you had to do was like not do that and you were fucking walking away with this thing. And they went back and forth for a while there. So that was pretty intense for a little bit. It was like the battle of the lightweights. It wasn't the heavyweights because they were slugging dumb shit. I don't know. Our political system is a nightmare. It's just a fucking disaster. You know, you look at the pool of candidates we're choosing from and it's abysmal. It's like these are the best people we have. I choose to not believe that. This glare over here is really starting to irritate me. There we go. Now it's all fixed. I gotta learn to like look at the thing, but I can't do that because I can just see myself out of the corner of my eye. I should block the screen, but then I can't, you know, see the chat that I can't see anyways because it disappears. I was hoping for more dementia videos of him. Yeah, people definitely shouldn't get a useless degree. That is for sure. I mean, I see people that talk to them, they're going to college. I'm like, what's your plan for a job? And they're like, well, I don't know. I'm like, so why are you investing money into a degree that you don't even know what you're going to do with it? Like, not only that, but right now, like, everybody keeps talking about they want to, like, basically make college, you know, tax funded and pay for people to go to college. But, like, where we're really hurting right now, more than anything, is, like, the trades. So if we're going to put money into anything, we should be paying for people to go into the trades because the average age of, like, where was it, like Texas? The average age of a master plumber is in like the mid-50s. Like that's not good. Because when all those people retire, there's not people coming up to replace them. And no matter what, like somebody's got to clean shit up and somebody's got to, plumb our houses. So it's pretty wild. We're getting better quotes than Bush Jr.'s toss out. So Bush Jr. is one of those guys, like growing up, I was really like, oh, this guy's like a massive piece of shit. And I think the media drove a lot of that. And he said some wild shit. But God bless him, like he just wung it. Like, nobody was writing his fucking speeches because he's making up words. Like he's just coming out of nowhere. I loved it. And also, speaking of great internet videos, well, it's really hard to find the whole video now. But that inauguration where he's trying to put on the emergency rain parka, that's one of the fucking best videos I ever saw. That thing kicked his ass up and down that seat. And like, it was better than like Dr. Grant in Jurassic Park where he just knots the seatbelt because he can't figure it out. It was better than that when he just like had that thing sitting over him. Absolutely awesome. Yeah, trade work is so important. I mean, it's such a fundamental part of our society. And everybody's like, we got to go to college, you got to go to college. But the trades are making killer money now. Especially if you really get yourself well-versed and stuff. And you can basically start a business. You have really no overhead. Once you get there, you do have to pay for the schooling for the trades. But I think if we're going to dump money into anything, I'd rather see it dumped into that than like, no offense to anybody that has that, but do we really need more people with another liberal arts degree? Like, no, we need people that fucking fix infrastructure. So I would like to see more of that, especially because as you get more people in the trades and maybe you can get more people into those industries, maybe we can start becoming a little more self-sufficient, not relying so much on everywhere else. All the highest earning clients are the trades. Trades are harder to automate. Yeah. I mean, you can't send a robot to somebody's house to fix a plumbing problem. You can't send a robot like $15, $20 an hour for working at Walmart. We can get a robot to do that. You are very, very replaceable, so keep demanding more and less of you are going to have jobs. What I don't understand is everybody gets so onto minimum wage, but like you should never, ever, ever, as an adult, think that you're going to make minimum wage for your life. Like you should be looking to move up in that industry or use whatever job to platform to another. Like you should be working towards something. Minimum wage is something maybe you spend like 90 days at minimum wage and then you should be moving up as long as you've proven yourself a useful commodity. Legend has it blood python piss causes Joe's dementia. Be careful, Dan. But legend has it that they don't pee. So I don't know. I just took out a Sumatra. And where were you? I just had one of them out. Let's see if this girl's out and about. Oh my God, what did you do in here? This is illegal. Dude, your cage is rancid. I'm gonna have to clean this one. She just did illegal things in her cage. I love this girl. She's going to be so dark in another year or two. You did miss the giveaway stuff. I gave away some stickers. I gave away some coasters, and we gave away a US ARC membership. I got to get into touch with that person. Minimum wages for kids, not adults, for the family and real bills. Yeah, I feel like minimum wage should be for like people just starting out, or if you're retired and you have a pension or whatever, but you're just looking for something to do, or maybe you're working a shit job just to have benefits, then that's fine. And there's definitely lots of ladders to climb out because I'm not the smartest guy. I'm not the I have no real skill set, but I've moved up at my job. I've gotten plenty of raises. This one is like coming up on 2 years old, I think. But she's from that really small line, so she's pretty small. Yeah, they definitely are. But yeah, she's a cool snake. I'm gonna stick her in a different bin though because I gotta clean that out. I got a holding bin right here for you. Bum, ba, bum. Enjoy being in a tiny bin. Tell the internet, scream for them. Tell them how horrible your life is in a little bin. Da, 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 da. I can't believe there are people above 18 who think their time is worth $5 an hour after tax. So many other ways to make more money. Yeah, for sure. Like, you shouldn't even be considering that at that point. You know, unless there's something going on where, like, you literally can't, you have no other options. But especially right now, there's jobs everywhere. Everywhere. Everything is hiring and everything's having trouble finding anybody with any kind of experience or anything, or people that just want to work. I can't tell you how many businesses are closing early because they can't find enough staff. So this is a time where, like, people should be out there, and if you want to make a change or whatever, this is a time to look into it, see what you can do. I think people get too comfortable and whatever else, but yeah, I don't know. I've never worked at a job and not gotten a raise before. If they don't give me a raise, then I'll go somewhere else that's going to pay me more money. You know, like, you know, you can't overplay your hand either. But that's another thing that I think a lot of adults are missing. Or young adults, especially now, because in this age where people are not communicating and you're not allowed to offend anybody, you're not allowed, like, all this stuff, they're losing these skills of being able to negotiate with their employer, to go to their boss and say, hey, you know what? Here's what I'm bringing to the table. Here's what you're paying me. Here's what I feel I deserve. You know, what can we do here? That's how I've gotten a couple of my raises, is just going, and one of them I went down to my boss and I said, hey, listen, I said, end of the day, I need to make more money, but I need to be more valuable to you in order for you to pay me more money. So what do I need to do to increase my value so that, you know, we both win? And he went over some things that he wanted me to do. I did those things. I got my raise. So I think part of the thing that people make a mistake is is saying, like, I need more money. So you go to your boss, I need more money. Okay, that's great, but what are you doing for the company to deserve more money? You know, the company has to operate at a